Fanatic app and YouTube channel. Here are your hosts, John Kincade and Andrew Salciunas. 97.5 The Fanatic, Philadelphia.
Well, it's been freaking cold outside when you walk out to go start your car and you go, it's not that bad out today, actually. And then you look at the weather app and it says 14 degrees, and you're like, are you kidding me? But because it wasn't 6 or 7 or 8 degrees when I went to start the car this morning, 14 degrees felt like spring, Johnny. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, getting out of the 4 days last week, it was single digits leaving the house.
Yeah.
So this is nice.
I literally thought, I thought it was at least 20-something. I'm not joking. I thought it was like 20-something when I started my car. And then when I went back in my house, I opened up the weather app, and I was like, oh, my God, it's 14 degrees.
Oh, boy.
But it just feels that much different. Anyways, what a weekend we had here in Philadelphia. Sports.
Yeah, really. It's we left work on Friday.
It was a nice day, Friday.
Yeah,
Friday was nice.
Yeah, I mean, Friday seemed fine, and then all hell broke loose.
Yeah, people wonder, man, why are you guys always so negative? Well, it's not that we want to be negative. It's, let's face it, sports in life, when it comes to sports, they lose more than they win. It's a fact, I would imagine, right? There's teams There's teams that have positive records, and then they lose in the playoffs, and you have to react to it. And so that's why a lot of the times we are more reacting to negative storylines than positive storylines. Or you're a fan of the Sixers. It's just a damn circus. We'll get to Paul George in a moment.
Seems like it's a complete circus over and over again.
Yeah, we'll get to Paul George in a moment.
Oh, we got plenty of that.
Let's start
It's amazing. We can get to the Paul George story next.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's unbelievable.
Because we'll talk about the number one team in town for a lot of people, and that's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Sure.
And the number one side of the ball for the Philadelphia Eagles the last 2 seasons has been the defense. And that defense has been run by Vic Fangio, an incredible defensive coordinator.
Amazing.
A guy that we absolutely love, not just in terms of his success with this Eagles defense, but just the press conferences are awesome, right? The honesty at his press conferences, the blunt nature of some of his press conferences.
You mean he knows how to answer a question?
Knows how to answer a question. People ask him, hey, how do you get your defense so good? He says, good players make me look smart. Like, I love Vic Fangio because he's just a very honest, down-to-earth guy. Loves his Phillies, right? Loves his meatballs. Has the meatball award this year. Get the best player from each win got a meatball, right? Like, it was great.
He brought these young dogs from Georgia along.
Yes, he did. Big time.
And they all sing his praises.
And we don't know how much longer he's got because it comes out this weekend that Vic Fangio strongly considered retiring. Now, there was an article from Jimmy Kempski that made it clear that Eagles brass has basically the understanding that he will be back this upcoming season, but it's still up in the air. Every national reporter that's out there goes, well, yeah, we think that's the case, but we're not 100% certain that he will be returning as the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles. I feel like he will be because the whole Christian Parker situation and how that played out, him going to Dallas as the new DC. But bottom line is, clock's ticking, Johnny. At this point, whether it's this year or next, we already heard that last year he was considering it at one point after winning the Super Bowl. I think we all kind of thought it maybe at one point. Did we not talk about it at one point during the offseason last year?
Did we wonder if he would have?
Yeah, they won, and it was the defense. He could have gone out absolutely on top. It was his side of the ball that got them to the Super Bowl with Saquon Barkley running rampant on the offensive side. But it was his side of the ball that really got them going. So we talked about it like, Could this be it for Vic Fangio? He goes out on top. He doesn't.
Go out on top, and we talk about those kind of things, and that's very similar.
And now, Johnny, it looks like we're getting closer and closer.
Can I say something sort of scorching hot to start the show? And it's not a hot take. It's just what I really believe.
Go for it.
I would have said, Vic, I greatly appreciate it. They reportedly had to talk him into coming back last year.
Okay.
And if I heard that again, I'd say, Vic, we love you, man, and we appreciate everything you've done. Thanks for your time.
You would have let him go.
Christian Parker, you're the defensive coordinator.
I can't disagree with you more.
Well, that's fine. And
that's fine.
And you're free to. That's the beauty of it.
And
we didn't talk about this before, but I absolutely would not let one of the brightest young minds who knows your entire defensive personnel, who is considered one of the brightest minds on the defensive side of the ball, up-and-coming young coordinators in the game, ready to ascend, I would not let him walk out the door to my biggest rival in the division.
I get that, and that's going to be a stain for a lot of people.
Because a 67-year-old man is deciding whether he wants to come back or not. And to me, I would have said, I dealt with this last year. I asked you to come back. You came back. I'm dealing with this again. I would have said, thank you for your time.
The reason why I disagree with you, and look, I don't think you're like an idiot. Sometimes I do.
Well, no, sometimes that's fine.
But that's for a different
that means
day.
you have good. That means you have good sense.
I need some sort of stability right now.
You would have had it.
Well, I don't know. We don't look.
No, you would have had it with.
I
There would have been
Christian
stability.
Parker. I hope Christian Parker's great. Well,
But there
maybe
would
I
have been
don't because he's with
stability.
Dallas.
There would have been stability in leadership with Christian Parker as far as in that room, personality-wise, leadership-wise, knowing who's going to lead the team. If Vic Fangio decides to leave today, you don't have that necessarily.
Well, yeah, I'm.
And by the way, Clint Hurt is not. If he took over, let's put it this way: on the open market, I don't believe he's Christian Parker.
Right.
As far as
I think he got sniffed once for DC this offseason.
He was at DC 1 year, if I'm not mistaken.
No, but I'm saying this offseason,
Yes.
I think only one team has interviewed him.
But I don't believe it's the young. Look, Christian Parker's the young, ascending, bright mind. Clint Hurt's a very fantastic coach, but I think it's more of a fantastic coach. And to me, I wouldn't have let him walk.
I'm just, again, I'm in the world of guessing, right? That if they knew that Vic Fangio was coming back or not coming back, I would imagine their decision with Christian Parker would play with that, right? If Vic Fangio, if they knew that he was leaving or they were totally unsure if he was returning or not, I don't think they would have let Christian Parker even interview, right? Because you could block certain people from being interviewed. So I don't think that they would have let him go. The reason why I say stability, I'm going into a season with a 33-year-old offensive coordinator that's never called plays before. Last year, I went into the season with a not 33-year-old offensive coordinator, but another guy that has never called plays before. I know with Vic Fangio that this defense is going to play at a certain level. And that makes me feel comfortable.
And you can speak to that confidence.
With one side of the ball. I can't speak about the other one because I don't know who Sean Mannion is. Remember, how many conversations did we have with guys like Andrew DeCecco saying, hey, it wasn't just a Patullo thing. It was the offensive line. It was Jalen Hurts. It was Nick Sirianni and his overall beliefs. By the way, Sean Mannion being 33, does he have complete autonomy? I don't buy it. I believe that Nick Sirianni will have, his say on how the offense goes, especially early on with this young, new mind. I would know that going into week one, that Vic Fangio, I could feel comfortable saying, all right, he's got that side.
Okay, here's one thing that the folks in Dallas, and they'll talk about it today, talking to some of my buddies in Dallas who cover the Cowboys, that they had for us. Christian Parker was officially brought on board Friday, 1/23. So Friday the 23rd, which was actually a week ago Friday, so 10 days ago. He was brought on. Parker could have been brought on even earlier, but supposedly, people within the Cowboys say the yes from Parker might have been delayed or it was long played, him signing the deal. So I'm thinking he signs Friday 1/23, but he could have been signed Wednesday. If he wanted that job that Wednesday,
sure,
he would have been the guy. But it was sort of, and Dallas people were like, okay, is the deal coming for Parker or is it not? What's the holdup? And then finally that deal got done. I figured that is where Vic was hemming and hawing.
Sure.
And then I believe Christian Parker then heard Vic's coming back.
I'm going to go be the DC. And look, you don't blame Christian Parker for
No, I don't. No, not at all.
No.
I applaud Christian Parker for taking care of himself.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this: if the Eagles do not know today, on Monday, February 2nd, first of all, I do believe they know.
Yeah,
I believe they know he's coming back.
Do. Yeah.
But if for some reason the Eagles don't know that Vic Fangio's coming back today, on Monday, February 2nd, and you let Christian Parker walk, that is absolutely organizational malpractice. It's absolutely a joke if that happened. Because you had an heir apparent in the building, and you let him walk to your biggest rival. And you let him walk to a team that, if they had even adequate defense this year, you may not win this division. You may not have won this division. And to me, I think it's annoying to me that you're even dealing with this again. And I got to tell you, if somebody said to me. I've seen this in our business before, where somebody's like, yeah, I might stay, I might go, I might stay, I might go.
Yeah.
And I would tell, if I was the boss in any business, if someone kept doing that to me, I'd go, okay, go. I'm not doing this anymore.
Unless you don't want the guy to go.
No, but it's like you got to go.
What if you don't want the guy to go? I don't want Vic Fangio to go.
But at some point, I want somebody who wants to be here, Andrew.
Yeah, but I also don't know. We don't know Christian Parker is going to be some great DC. I know that Vic Fangio is.
But you know what I don't want to do? I don't want to be caught holding the bag without him. And at some point, I want somebody who wants to be here. I want somebody who I know is 100% committed to wanting to be here. Not 80%, not 70%, because you can't do that job half committed.
Well, he wasn't fully committed last year, and he was pretty damn good. I don't know. Like I
don't want it.
I get it. I get the concerns, and he's up there in age. Like if we were talking about a 45-year-old, it's a totally different conversation. We're talking about a 67 going on 68-year-old defensive coordinator. So there's going to come a time, and it could be as early as next year, or maybe he does have a change of heart in the next 5 minutes. But I just don't expect that. Again, to the point of letting Christian Parker go. I would not have said, see ya. Connor?
No shot.
Yeah.
No shot. I mean, Vic Fangio is worth every headache he's going to put this organization through because you know what you're getting with him. It's not a maybe. It's a definitive.
Okay, what if he leaves today?
Well, okay. You just brought up the Christian Parker thinking about it.
I do. No. What I believe. But what if he leaves today? Because there are some Eagles reporters who are very credible.
Yeah.
Who believe he has not told them that he's coming back.
Right.
What if he leaves today?
If he leaves today, they're screwed.
Yeah, and then we got a problem.
Then it's not.
But that's not the story yet.
Okay.
The story as of right now is we expect him to be back. They let Christian Parker walk. I think it's logical to assume that they confirmed the Vic Fangio thing before Christian Parker left because what you're saying about Christian Parker, I believe, is correct. And the way he's viewed, not just here, but across the National Football League. We have Vic Fangio for another year. You deal with that later. But if it's Christian Parker in one hand and proven lifer defensive coordinator who's made this defense great, Vic Fangio.
In a championship window.
I'm taking Vic Fangio a billion times out of a billion.
But you guys are doing a false argument. If you told me it's Vic Fangio guaranteed to be coming back and it's Christian Parker, I'm taking Vic Fangio with you 100%. But when you don't know that he's coming back, you can't say that.
Right, but you just said if he's hemming or hawing, you would just say go.
And
I would not do that.
Because it's the second consecutive year you're dealing with it. You're dealing with it again of, is he committed or not? And you're going to lose the guy that everyone in the building will tell you, Vic would have tapped on the shoulder and said, this is my heir apparent.
But look, I'm still holding out hope that he, even though, again, I think we all kind of assume that he will be back.
I absolutely hope there's no more hemming and hawing today.
Even with the hope, I'm still saying I can't just, I'm not saying goodbye. I'm not saying kick rocks,
So you'd be okay if he leaves today, you're fine?
I would be disappointed, don't get me wrong, but I'm going to try to risk the Vic Fangio coming back before, again, a guy that people talk very highly of.
Okay, so if we got news today that Vic Fangio he's decided on Monday, February 2nd, that he's leaving the organization, you're okay with the fact that they let Christian Parker work?
Excuse me, hello, Mr. Schwartz. Are you that upset that you didn't get hired as the head coach in Cleveland? Would love to have you.
The Eagles fan base would lose their freaking mind.
I love Jim Schwartz.
Wait, see, so did I.
Yeah, I know.
So did I.
I don't care what people say about that.
But I'm saying is that, and the Eagles defense wasn't that great. Let's just say it was the worst performance ever by a defense in a Super Bowl for a winning team.
Yeah, we're blinded by that. They were really, really good all season long.
The
Super Bowl was really, really bad.
And Jim Schwartz's defenses in the link were the best ever. Yeah. And that includes Buddy Ryan and Jim Johnson's defenses.
I would pick up the phone. If it comes out today, breaking news, Fanatic breaking news, Vic Fangio's retiring, I'd call Jim Schwartz in 5 seconds.
I would absolutely not let that. And the fact that he didn't take the San Francisco job, and Kyle Shanahan reportedly was sniffing around Jim Schwartz, I was going, is he going back to Cleveland, or is he waiting for potentially another job to open up?
Yeah, and I don't think the Jim Schwartz thing would be looked at negatively here. I think at this point, with what he did in Cleveland and how that defense kept them as somewhat of a football team, I think people would be happy about him coming back if that stuff.
If you got him this late, right? Like, because at this point we are now late. If Vic Fangio decided to retire today, that would be a very late retirement, right? Almost a full month after they got eliminated.
Jim Schwartz with the talent they have on
the
back end of this defense, he could absolutely make it work.
So that was the first bit of news to react to from over the weekend, that Vic Fangio considered retirement. Still not 100% that he is returning with the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'm going to guess that they think that he's coming back if they did let Christian Parker walk. But I'll ask the question at 610-632-0975. Would you have just said, all right, Vic, we can't deal with this. Bye-bye. We're going to, promote Christian Parker. I would not have done it. You would have. I would not have done it.
Yep.
We want to hear from people.
Well, we're just hoping that Vic's coming back.
610-632-0975.
And
Yeah,
that's not a story. That would be great.
Now, another big bit of news took place this weekend. Paul George suspended 25 games for substance abuse policies in the association. So here was Shams Charania. It obviously broke over the weekend. Here was Shams reporting the news that Paul George was suspended.
This is a highly unusual and stunning development, Ernie, for one of the league's really great players in the past and someone of his caliber. But Paul George told me today in a statement that this occurrence happened for Paul George with this test that led to a 25-game ban due to an improper medication for a mental health related issue, not a physical one. Paul George told me that he takes full responsibility for his actions and, quote, poor decision making. And remember, back in 2020 during the NBA bubble, Paul George was outspoken about mental health that he faced during that time, even in the past few years. But he will now be sidelined through March 25th. He's going to be eligible for the last 10 games of the 76ers season. And in total, guys, this is going to cost Paul George almost $12 million.
You know what's amazing, John? Last week, we asked the question, do you still get an emotional reaction when Joel Embiid has great nights, right? And he's on another tear right now, another 40-point night the other day. Because it's been a long time, and I know a lot of people have since checked out on Joel Embiid. I'll ask the exact same question. Do you still get an emotional reaction at this point when news breaks about a Sixer that's either suspended or gets hurt or can't play, or there's some nonsense or there's some drama surrounding this freaking basketball team that has been surrounding them for a freaking decade at this point? Do you still get emotional reactions to it?
Of course I do. Because this is ridiculous. And Shams, I mean, honestly, could he have gotten it? Did he get handed that from Paul George's camp to read that statement? I can't even believe it. By the way, I got that yesterday and saved it for my kids for class. Paul George, he accepts full responsibility for his actions. Who the hell would be accepting responsibility for his actions? Who?
Well, I think
did
that's
Paul
just
George? Did Paul? No.
Did Paul saying?
Did Paul? It's a useless saying. Did Paul George? Did somebody take him to a hotel and slip him a banned substance? No. What the hell is he talking about? Taking full responsibility for his actions.
I feel like you're getting angry over the most minimal thing.
No. What I'm taking is I've been telling you about my mental health. That's what I'm going to get angry about. I've been telling you about my mental health, but I'm not going to tell you what I took. I'm not going to tell you the story, but I'm going to tell you this other story about, I've told you about my mental health. He's doing exactly what Ben Simmons did.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
No.
He's using the shield. It is Connor. It is easy.
Slow down.
No, gentlemen, I'll let you speak. You speak.
All right, hold on a second.
No, you speak for yourselves, and then I'll speak when you guys are ready.
Look, what Paul George did, again, I'm not defending the guy, but Ben Simmons literally made up. Literally made it up.
I'm going to speak and say it to it is. This is a ridiculous cover for whatever he did. Whether he has had his mental health issues or not, that's fine. It has nothing to do with him violating this, taking a banned substance. And I don't know how many, and I applaud all the ex-NBA players who were employed by the major networks for coming out and reading and showing you this is absurd.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing.
It's
I'm
simple.
not disagreeing with you.
It is then to
it's
use
the Ben Simmons thing
then to use mental health as a shield in the excuse for why you did what you did is absolutely using it as a, hey, this is why I did what I did. I applaud the ex-NBA players who refused to buy into the speaking points and go, wait a minute, we all care about mental health. We're all worried about it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Here are the simple documents. You know what you take. You know what you're allowed to take. You know what you can do. You know what you can't do. This is simple. This is absolutely
right, which is
simple.
why Paul George is wrong, and I'm not disagreeing with you.
And
I'm just saying Ben Simmons literally made up that he has.
Well, wait a minute. But by the way, you can't. You don't. Say, I would not say that.
All right, allegedly.
Well, then say allegedly, yes, because I'm saying to you,
Danny Green on a podcast just last week did say that he was trying to actually get out of practices, even though there are people for whatever reason,
like
even here locally,
like the COVID thing.
Yeah, like look. Remember, he had the phone in his pocket, and there were reporters for whatever reason saying that wasn't a phone. Like it was a phone. Danny Green just said it was a phone. It was a phone. Ben Simmons and his agency found a clause in the contract. Wait, you can't take money away from us.
Just still say allegedly.
Sure, allegedly.
But with Paul George, yes, he's had mental health issues.
Right.
We all accept it. But in this case, it is a simple procedure. It's a simple observation.
I just don't think it's a comparison. I'll speak more on it coming up next because Paul George is wrong. All right, I don't want anyone thinking that I'm
wrong.
defending Paul George. I'm not going the route of it's the same as Ben Simmons. All right, we'll discuss this more because you mentioned some former NBA players. How about Kenny, Shaq, and Charles? Inside the NBA, obviously had to react to the big news of a big player. You'll hear that coming up next. More on the Paul George. Your text messages as well. Do you still get emotional at this point when you hear news with the Sixers? Because it's just another day. It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, Valentine's Day is almost here. If you haven't done your shopping yet, what are you waiting for? You're 12 days away. I get it. Christmas, Hanukkah, all the winter holidays just passed, right? There's a lot of money being spent. You're having parties. You're doing it all, right? New Year's, going out to the clubs. Not me anymore. Those days are behind me. And then all of a sudden you realize, my bank account's kind of low. Valentine's Day, people. Still right here. And if you're dragging your feet, here's my advice. Go to Family Company Jewelers because you are guaranteed to walk out with something that will make you look like an all-star this year, including a huge selection of 24-karat gold-dipped roses. I was just at the store a couple of weeks ago. The gold-dipped roses, all kinds of different colors. They were fantastic. By the way, a little special bonus for the listeners out there. Mention this ad, use code word Andrew or code word Fanatic online at checkout, and you will receive a 10% off discount off any gold-dipped rose. They are beautiful. It's an easy gift. They got a bunch of them in stock. A real gold-dipped rose in 24-karat gold, and they have almost every color imaginable to choose from. This is a gift that will last forever, just like your love. And, of course, you can buy all kinds of other great things like diamond earrings or maybe that engagement ring. Or, of course, hey, ladies, guys deserve a little love, too. All kinds of great gifts like watches for men as well. Customized pocket knives, beautiful things. Options are endless. Bottom line is perfect Valentine's Day gift is right on Route 70 in Marlton, New Jersey at Family Company Jewelers, South Jersey's diamond destination.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Paul George suspended. I'm Connor Thomas, and the NBA announced on Saturday that Sixers' Paul George would be suspended 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. Head coach Nick Nurse reacted to the news over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, disappointed for sure. But those guys that have been playing, we got to figure out who's going to replace some of the things he does and the positionally and defensively and shots and all that kind of stuff.
It's a big loss for the Sixers, losing their third highest leading scorer in points per game on the season. But despite the news, they were able to find a win over the Pelicans on Saturday. They're back on the floor tonight in L.A. against the Clippers, 10 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game live right here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Flyers fell to the Kings in overtime on Saturday. They have 2 more games before they hit the Olympic break. Next up is going to be a home matchup with the Capitals tomorrow night. They have the night off tonight. As for the Eagles, we're still learning more about the 2 new offensive coaches they added over the weekend with new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion and pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard. We're also keeping an eye on the developing Vic Fangio story as reports came out over the weekend that he has multiple times considered retirement, but the expectation is for him to return. That's not fully confirmed, so we'll keep you updated. Bobby Marks of ESPN joins us at 8:35 to talk about the Paul George news. Greg Allman of Fox joins us at 9:05 to break down what we need to know about new pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard. This update's brought to you by Barbera's on the Boulevard, the hottest new SUV at the auto show. You saw it. Now buy it at Barbera. High, wide, and handsome. Big, bad, bodacious, rugged Jeep Cherokee. Just $199 down. You're driving around Philly town. I'm Connor Thomas for 97.5 The Fanatic.
some reason, trust this Washington college guy to produce. Charity comes in many forms. Kincade Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
This hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented by Bradford White Water Heaters. Bradford White, they're here for the pro.
It is 6:31 on this Monday morning here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Football Mondays, Johnny, even though the Birds have been out of it for a while. Football Mondays on The Fanatic presented to us by our friends at the local Bryant Home Comfort Team. Visit nopaybryant.com to keep your HVAC in the starting lineup. I saw some people wondering why you would want Jim Schwartz back. Again, Jim Schwartz, if Vic Fangio were to leave, is a very, very good defensive coordinator in the NFL. And as I said in the first segment, we're blinded by the Super Bowl performance to Tom Brady.
And you and I are both big fans of Jim Schwartz.
The Eagles that year, the defensive performance that people point out to during the Super Bowl, oh, my God, Schwartz wasn't even that good. They allowed 295 points that season, which was fourth best in the NFL. They're one of the better defenses. And, oh, by the way, what do you say about Ronald Darby these days? What do we say about Jalen Mills? We say, man, those guys aren't all that great. And yet,
he got enough out of them
to win a freaking Super Bowl. And up until the Super Bowl, I understand that was the last game of that year. Divisional round against the Falcons. They were freaking tremendous.
Defense was amazing.
And then after the pick six from Patrick Robinson, the Vikings did nothing in the NFC Championship game.
They were dominated.
Yeah.
They were dominated.
So, no, Jim Schwartz, very good defensive coordinator, and he got a lot out of the defense where people start talking about some of the players going, how do they win with those guys? Jim Schwartz, good defensive coordinator. I really hope Vic Fangio doesn't retire for another 20 years.
Let's hope he doesn't, but don't expect much.
All right, before you hear from the Inside the NBA trio of Shaq and Kenny and Charles.
The underpaid trio, they really...
Yeah, I'm sure they're
wondering where their next
really
meal is
scratching
coming
and
from.
clawing.
Yeah.
Look, I want to make it clear. I am very disappointed in Paul George. Of course, the Sixers start playing good basketball, so something had to happen, right? You know, this time the peanut allergy card was already played, so they couldn't play that one.
They're running out of stuff. They have to be, right?
And the torn meniscus, hopefully we're out of that. Hopefully we had enough Uno cards be used already where torn meniscus can't be used. So we had to go PED suspension or in this case, a prescription when it came to mental health.
Or not a prescription.
Or he took it on his own, yeah.
Because if it's a prescription, you can get a prescription approved.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. If you got a prescription from your own doctor, if you didn't go to a team doctor, all you got to do is just it's as simple as going to a portal, having it loaded up, having the doctor is a real doctor. They approve that.
Right.
And then you can take the medication. You could get approval on this now. Reading stuff last night, you can get it within an hour and a half to 2 hours.
Right. Yeah.
This is a excuse. There is an excuse.
Well, look, here. I believe, and Paul George has been open about his struggles with mental health. I do believe that he feels the need to take some sort of prescription or something for his mental health.
And that's fine.
And I will respect that. You know how I feel about that kind of stuff.
And that's
there are
fine.
people very close to me in my life that suffer.
Okay.
So I understand. But here's the deal, Paul. The NBA, God bless them, are the most lenient league that there is and upfront league that there is when it comes to the struggles with mental health. Shout out to Kevin Love, who was really, really great. Like, kind of, I don't want to say groundbreaking.
I think he was the forefront guy.
Yeah.
For coming forward and talking.
Like, hi, I'm a professional athlete making millions of dollars, but I also have mental health struggles.
And I'm talking about it, and the league is willing to stand there and be at my side.
Which was great.
And work with it, which is great.
Look, there's a lot of things about Adam Silver that I don't like. There are some things that I do, and I think that kind of stuff they're really good at. They have so much at their disposal.
Yep.
It is the most lenient league of the four major sports that there are. It was the first league where it's like, you want to smoke a little pot, go for it. You're not going to get in trouble for it. Go for it.
And it's simple. It's simple to get cleared for taking something.
Yeah.
If it's a prescription, it's simple to get the prescription cleared before you take it. And the bottom line is, it's easy for you to just say, when you get caught, to just come out and say, what'd you get caught for? Just answer the question. What'd you get caught for?
Oh, he's going to keep that to himself. He will.
For what reason?
I don't know.
What's it?
I don't know, John. I don't know why he will keep it to himself. But
I
but
sort of have a
probably will.
feeling. I think there's a lot of easy theories as to why, because you know that it's not something that anybody's going to go, oh, we can really understand that.
Right. This is something, again, the NBA is so good at it that you have to be so negligent.
So dumb. It's dumb.
To fall into this. And unfortunately, it's just another story with the Philadelphia 76ers. And I'm so disappointed by it. And this isn't like Jose Alvarado trying to lose weight or anything.
Or Max Kepler trying to hit 12 home runs.
Yeah, like this is Paul George.
I didn't even think about Kepler.
Paul George is not trying to. This isn't a PED, right? He isn't trying to help his body. You heard it in the clip from Shams. It wasn't that. It's for his mental health, which I respect. But the NBA is the most open league and lenient league. That how do you screw this up is my question. How do you mess this
until
up?
they tell us what it's about? We don't know what it is.
Yeah. All right. Well,
we don't know what he did.
Here was the crew inside the NBA reacting because the news breaks this weekend. What do we got, Connor?
It's good to have, everybody ready to go, the full team when you're going into the postseason. It's unfortunate that this happened. But I just want to say that, they give us a booklet on what to do and what not to do. And they also give you inside the booklet how long it takes to get rid of something. So, I don't want to elaborate what he was doing or what he was doing, but, stuff like this should not happen because they give you the booklet that said, don't take this, and this, the letter of the law. Do not take any of these things. And when you've been in the league this long, you know what it is. They test you 3 to 4 times a year, but this is definitely going to hurt them. But when you're going into a postseason, you like to have a guy with experience like Paul George.
Well, if this is the accuracy of what happened, isn't this an oxymoron? Because again, it's a contradiction. If you have mental health, there is nothing that you should take that help you that you can't take.
And listen, Kenny, I'm 100% agree with you. It's something fishy going on here. Now, I don't joke around about mental health, but if you're taking some for mental health, that's got to be an outlier to the NBA.
Not a performance enhancing.
Yes. Come on, man.
That doesn't make sense.
That doesn't make, listen, like I say, as my girl Judge Judy said, if it doesn't make sense to me, it don't make sense. Because if the NBA, if you're taking some for mental health, even if it's on a list, you should get a hall pass. So this does not sound.
Is that the rule, though?
No. No.
I don't know the rule, but that just doesn't make sense.
There's never a good reason taking performance-enhancing drugs, Jack. But if you're taking a drug for your mental health, you should get a hall pass. We don't need any players suffering from mental health. If they got a pill out there that can help you with that, you should get a hall pass. But this sounds fishy.
Yeah, look, or he did do whatever he's saying he's doing, but once again, there's a laundry list, and Shaq said it. He's been in the league for. This isn't a rookie. This isn't a second-year player in the NBA. This isn't, and I'll straight up say, this isn't an international player coming overseas, not understanding the rules, or maybe there's a language barrier. This is Paul George, who's been in the NBA for a decade plus, and doesn't know that there's guidelines to follow.
Gentlemen, Charles and Shaq are among two of the most connected people in the NBA. When they're speaking on that show and on that stage, they're speaking from some level of talking to people. They both find it very fishy, very suspicious. That's all you need to know.
Yeah,
and I applaud the NBA players, the ex-NBA players, for not falling into line with, okay, just let's pussyfoot around this because we got to be really, really careful here. No, this is absolutely, there's no excuse for it. None.
No, there's
none
not
to be made.
Like, I was out sick Thursday and Friday. It's totally okay to take a sick day. But if I didn't text you guys and tell you, hey, I'm going to be out, if I didn't reach out to our boss and be like, yo, I'm out, we need some coverage, and put in, like, my sick time and everything, be like, where is this guy? There's protocol you have to go through for certain things to get it cleared, and there's a clear structure in place for the NBA if you're going to take something. And Paul George did not go through that, so it's on him that he's now not available for 25 games for this damn team. And that's a screw-up, and that's not a good thing for a team that really needs him.
Okay, so
is it a good thing?
Oh, by the way, the fishy thing, one of the fishy things that Charles could be referring to is, what's something that the 25-game suspension takes off the table?
What? The money?
More money. I mean, he's got more money than God.
No. I'm talking about
but what's something that it takes off the
team money
from From a Sixers standpoint, what's something that
Well,
it
they
takes off
couldn't
the table?
trade him.
Correct. When you talk about fishy things, can't trade him. He can't be moved. He can't be traded. So now,
Yeah, I don't think Paul George loves it here so much that he's gonna
no,
do something to stay here.
you don't want to be moved during
The
the
guy
season.
didn't know the guy didn't know the NFC Championship
Again,
game was.
I'm not going to know, but it can't be moved during the season. Maybe he doesn't want to be moved during the season. Doesn't mean, again, he's the one because all the mystery can be taken away. All he needs to say is, this is what I took. And all the ex-NBA players coming out and saying, it's very easy to correct this. Just what'd you take?
Well, he's got a few months to do his podcast.
Don't be fishy with it. Oh, you saving it for the podcast? That makes it even more.
He's got a few months.
That makes it even more a bunch of BS.
All right, coming up next, news broke on Saturday. Sixers had a game that night. Nick Nurse had to speak on it. Hear what the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers had to say. The third clip that we play for you will be pretty much what everyone says in Philadelphia at this point. It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The Phillies will be in Clearwater before
647 here on Kincade Salciunas 97.5 The Fanatic. That was the voice of Ricky Pitalico, who you did a show with yesterday at the Flyers
so
Charities Carnival. That place was packed yesterday.
That is the largest crowd that I've ever seen for that event, and the Flyers Charities were thrilled with it. 6,400 people were through the gates of the Exmo Arena before 11 o'clock.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seemed more than 6,400 when I was there.
Gates opened at 10:30.
Yeah.
By 11 o'clock, 6,400 people had already been through the gates.
That was awesome.
And I'm telling you, the amount of people that were lined up outside in the cold hour and a half beforehand.
Wow, really? Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh,
yeah.
It's incredible. It's a great event. They're going over the $35 or $36 million
It's beautiful.
charity dollars raised. You guys had a good time in the dunk tanks?
Yeah, dunk tank. Me, Connor, and
Really good time.
Silvana. We were in the dunk tank. By the way, there are kids today that I don't know what their parents feed them. There was a kid that was not even 8 years old that I thought was the next Paul Skeens.
Yeah, we need a velo gun out there. So
Dude,
we get the
honestly,
speed gun.
part of the dunk tank next year should not just be can you hit your target, but how hard you can hit the target. There were kids, I'm like, and they were not doing it from the closest. They had like a little kid line.
But they weren't
And then
doing
they
it
had like
from
the
there?
normal line. And I had one kid, the last one, so you had 3 throws. And even if you hit it on the first throw, you get to throw 2 and 3.
Of course.
The last kid that I had at the 10-minute mark, because we were each in the dunk tank for 10 minutes, kid hit 3 for 3. And like...
And you're saying what? What were you guessing? Age-wise?
Probably 9, 10 years old.
That's incredible.
And throwing hard, like not like just let me underhand it to hit the thing and then I have to fall in. Like, no, this kid was drilling the target.
That's awesome.
Meanwhile, I got little Cooper Salciunas running up and pushing the target in,
Oh, listen, man.
taking me out.
They had to do it.
Yes, they did.
That's
had
great.
To do it, you know?
It was a fun time.
It's a participation trophy world that we're living in.
It's a great event, and the Flyers should be very proud of themselves with the work that they do for charity. It was an amazing event.
Damn right. Damn
And
right. So,
fun
good
working
day.
with Ricky Pitalico, who still is claiming that we kicked him off our show. We did not. We did not. I think he wants to look. I heard
him off our
enough. I heard
show.
enough digs yesterday. He said, "Well, you kicked me off your show." He said he wants to do something back with Kincade and Salciunas where he steps in.
Whoa.
That's what he says.
Whoa. I texted him to come on the air once. No response.
Well, then wait, that could be a one-on.
Hold on.
All right, go on.
I am going to quote, even though I don't have the audio, it's somewhere out there in the ether. Quote, I heard him talk about it on Unfiltered with Bill Colarulo.
All right, what'd he say?
I have my own show to prepare for.
All right, well.
End quote. So he's full of crap, that Ricky
I'll
Bo.
tell you, I mean, it was a great time yesterday. And
Well,
it
it could be a great time all at once. He doesn't have to be a liar.
Oh, boy.
That's full of crap. All right.
All right.
Sixers won on Saturday, Johnny.
They did.
It was a great night.
Boy, the Pelicans are terrible.
Yeah, the Pelicans stink, but it was a great night. They had the return of the 0-1 squad there, which was really cool. Seeing a lot of those guys on the court. I love that Theo was there, even though he was a part of the trade after he gets hurt. But I love that he was there. It was really cool. And it was cool to see members of Dikembe Mutombo's family that was there.
Team is well fed. They've enjoyed the years. It's a celebrated group. They were having a good time. They had a real fun time. It was a wonderful event. And boy, that team is loved.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
They're loved. They are beloved.
Yeah. I mean,
They're more than loved. They're beloved.
It's also been 25 years since a Sixers team has reached that mark of getting to an NBA Finals or at least getting to an Eastern Conference Finals.
Correct.
But it was a great night Saturday, and the place was rocking. And the Sixers win. They beat the Pelicans. Embiid is another freaking monstrous performance. 40 points, 11 rebounds for the non-All-Star, by the way. In the NBA. He did not get voted or picked from the coaches as one of the reserves. But another great night for Joel Embiid.
What did you think of the
Look, some of the centers that they picked are deserving. Karl Anthony Towns is not. Karl Anthony Towns has not had a good season this year. If you were to ask me, Cat or Embiid, it's Embiid. But I
would absolutely tell you if you're basing it on this year, it's Embiid.
Yeah. He should be in it. Joel Embiid should be an all-star.
Why do you think the players didn't?
It wasn't it was a lot of the coaches.
But I thought players too were involved. No, am I wrong?
I think it was coaches that were involved.
Okay, it's just coaches. Okay. Well, why do you think that they wouldn't have given him that honor?
I guess availability is the biggest thing.
Yeah, he's become more of an afterthought compared to other stars in the NBA.
But I think the respect that that people are starting to refer to the comeback.
Oh, absolutely.
It's been amazing, and he's getting a lot of notice for it. So hopefully he will continue to show up, and that will continue to grow.
But all that stuff Saturday night took place after the news that Paul George was suspended for 25 games.
He upstaged that night.
Yeah, of course he did. Here was Nick Nurse talking about how he actually just spoke to Paul George before getting to the podium.
Just spoke to him a little bit ago. I'm not going to share a personal conversation with you, but still part of the team. You can't play the games. You're still allowed at the facility and to practice and all that stuff. We're going to make sure that those things continue to happen, get him back. And, I just told him, listen, as with all our players dealing with this kind of stuff, we care about them. We're here to help them. The organization is in any way possible, and try to get past it as soon as we can, but get through it the best way we can, and then go from there.
It really is amazing, though, that the NBA in baseball, you're ineligible for the playoffs, right? Jose Alvarado, suspended 80 games, was able to come back. Jurickson Profar, too, with the Braves last year, right? He got suspended.
And then you're allowed to
right
come
at the
back.
beginning of the season, allowed to come back and play, but then you can't play in the postseason. NBA, you're allowed to. You are eligible. You're suspended 25 games, and there were people trying to sort of look at like, he's going to be fresh come playoff time. Bottom line is you got to get to the playoffs. You look at the Eastern Conference, we keep on talking about how, they're 6, but they're only 3 games back to the 3 seed. Well, they're also only 3 games up with the teams that are behind them.
Ricky said it yesterday. Ricky's like, I'm totally confident. I think this pushes them to the play-in tournament. Ricky goes, no. I think they got enough to go absolutely be a top 6 team. I think Paul George's suspension is going to push them to the play-in.
Yeah, the numbers don't tell you that Paul George has been playing some great season, but he fits with this basketball team.
We were just bragging on him the other day. We were talking about it extensively.
They're just a game and a half up with the Heat, who are the 7th seed, 2 games up with the Magic, who are the 8th seed. So I would not guarantee anything when it comes to him getting to the Sixers being one of the top 6 seeds. Here's more from Nick Nurse on Paul George.
I'm not going to share anybody's mental health issues with anybody at all. I think he's been fine. Really, really fun to coach. Really good teammate. His teammates really like him. I think showing some great leadership. And I think he's played well. And I think he's, again, slotted into a situation where he kind of sees, okay, listen, Tyrese is going here and Joel's coming back, and this is what I need to do. And I think he was doing some things at a really high level.
Showing some great leadership.
Yep.
Yes, it's great leadership, Nick. Great leadership. That's all. I'm not going to say anymore. That's great leadership. The leadership, you know what they say is character? Your character is what you do when nobody's watching. That's where your character shows. When nobody's watching.
Well, Paul George, nobody will be watching him for the next 25 games because he's suspended.
Great leadership, though. Great leadership.
Coming up next, we'll reset everything. We got text messages on both the Eagles and the Sixers. You can continue to climb in at 610-632-0975. There's one more clip from Nick Nurse I want to play because it's the reaction that every Sixers fan in the world has. I did ask the question, do you still get an emotional reaction at this point from bad Sixers news? Because, man, are we battle tested when it comes to that?
We are, aren't we?
That... And is there a shift in hiring strategies for the Eagles? And could there be more to come? It's Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic. It is Super Bowl week. Last call for football. That makes me sad. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. This is awesome. So today, there is a 30% profit boost on the passing yards, over-unders, and alternate passing yards. So each day, there will be a different daily profit boost for you to log onto your FanDuel account and to check out. So, over-under in passing yards. Maybe you think Sam Darnold's over-under of 227 is too high. So maybe you would take the under. You can bet that with the profit boost, or you can bet the alternate line at plus 200 yards, right? 200-plus yards. The money would be lower. The payout would be lower, but you're getting a profit boost, so you can boost that. Drake May, his over-under, 225.5. Maybe you like his over. I probably wouldn't against that Seahawks defense. All you have to do is opt in each day, place an eligible bet to use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel's giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. You got to be 21 plus. Present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-trivial profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now, on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
A big loss for the Sixers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the NBA announced on Saturday that Sixers' Paul George would be suspended 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. It's a big loss for the Sixers, one of their star players, obviously, and Nick Nurse talked about other guys having to step up over the weekend.
I think there's a number of guys there to do it, and that's where we are, and we've been in this kind of next man up mentality for quite a while, and we're going to have to dig in and do it again.
Doesn't feel like it's the first time stuff like this has happened for the Sixers, but despite the news, they were able to find a win over the Pelicans on Saturday. They're back on the floor tonight as they start off a West Coast swing. They're in L.A. against the Clippers, 10 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that here on the Fanatic. Flyers fell to the Kings at overtime on Saturday. They have 2 more games before they hit the Olympic break. Next up, a home matchup with the Capitals tomorrow night. As for the Eagles, we're still learning more about the 2 new offensive coaches they added over the weekend with new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion, pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard. We'll keep you updated on that. And also a look at Vic Fangio's future as reports have surfaced that he has considered a retirement multiple times, expected to be back, but not fully confirmed, so something to keep an eye on. We'll talk to Bobby Marks of ESPN for a breakdown of the Paul George contract situation coming up at 8:35. Greg Allman of Fox at 9:05 for a little bit on Josh Grizzard. This update is brought to you by AutoZone. Get in the zone. The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and get you back on the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone with AutoZone. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Called in 49ers.
Levi
Stadium of Sam Darnold, the big banners, because it's Super Bowl, so they have the big banners. Remember last year when you and I were on Radio Row, and they had in Radio Row there was these 2 big banners, one for the Eagles and one for the Chiefs.
Was it Sweat?
Yes, it was Jalen Hurts, obviously, and
Right.
Josh Sweat, and I remember going, that's a weird choice because you probably could have gone with like 5 guys on offense before Josh Sweat, right? Saquon Barkley,
No
for
question you
crying
could
out
have.
loud.
Right.
All right, you want to do the 1 offense, 1 defense representative. I get it. There was Quinyon Mitchell. There was Cooper DeJean. And we kind of questioned, like, why Josh Sweat? He ends up having the best game out of anybody on the Eagles defense. And there are people that voted for him to have won MVP. Jeff McClain, I think, talked about it.
And we were like,
he would have voted Josh Sweat to have won MVP.
we walked up and we could look right at the banner up on the wall. And we're like,
That's an interesting choice.
Interesting choice. And look what happened.
And then on the Chiefs side, the Chiefs went double offense, or the NFL went double offense. So the Eagles could have had both Hurts and Saquon. They went Patrick Mahomes, and Isaiah Pacheco. Like Travis Kelce.
Rutgers, stand up.
Like, seriously, like Travis Kelce's dating Taylor Swift. And, oh, by the way, he's one of the best tight ends in NFL history.
And they didn't do that.
And they went Isaiah Pacheco. We're like, that's really weird.
That's a really interesting choice, too.
So it was weird, even though Sam Darnold's the quarterback. It was weird to see Sam Darnold, I'll be honest with you guys, being promoted at the Super Bowl. It was weird. This guy was labeled a bust. He's played for 5 teams in his NFL career. Congratulations to him. It's an incredible story.
Absolutely.
It's a root for the guy story in Sam Darnold. But it was strange to see the banner of Sam Darnold representing the NFC in Super Bowl weekend.
Good for him. And he also got the general manager of the Vikings fired this past weekend because that guy said, no, we're good.
Well, because they kept J.J.
We got a better
McCarthy.
option. We got a better option. No, you didn't.
You
didn't have a better
I
option.
understand why, because it was the rookie, right?
No, he wanted to be right.
Yeah.
They let guys like Aaron Rodgers sit.
Yeah.
Talents like Aaron Rodgers sat. There are other guys that sat. You don't have to just pull the trigger and say, give him the job, especially when you saw a guy go 14-3.
Yeah.
And they pulled the trigger and they
That's
lost.
the hardest part, the fact that they were successful. This isn't what was it, Russell Wilson? Was it Matt Flynn? Who was the quarterback that
Matt Flynn back in the day?
Matt Flynn,
yes.
the Seahawks signed Matt Flynn to like crazy money, and then Russell Wilson just had a better camp, and they're like, oh, we got to give it to the young guy. Sam Darnold had success. Like Matt Flynn got paid because of 5 games in Green Bay or something like that. And then all of a sudden Russell Wilson beat him out. This is totally different. Sam Darnold won 14 games, and they were like, nah, we got 9.
I think
we got 9.
I think
ready
too many
to go.
of these executives are listening to Connor.
Could be.
On Sam Darnold, and I think that Connor needs to, did he leave you tickets, Connor, to the game?
No.
He said stay far away because you're a hater.
There you go.
All right. Vic Fangio, the rumors over the weekend were that he was contemplating retirement. It's still not official that he's back. Real quick, just to sort of semantics here. Remember when Sirianni wasn't fired after the 2023 debacle and people were wondering why they didn't say anything? Well, he was still under contract.
Correct.
They didn't have to say anything. The Eagles do not have to put out some sort of statement that Vic Fangio is returning because he's under contract. Like, this isn't we signed Vic Fangio to 1 more year. Vic Fangio is under contract. They don't have to say anything about him coming back. It's just you're going to have to rely on a reporter to basically break the story that Vic Fangio is 100% indeed returning as the defensive coordinator of the Eagles.
And, 2, this was pointed out to me yesterday by someone very close to the Eagles that the Eagles are not going to put out any kind of official statement for someone who is under contract.
Right.
So if you're wondering why haven't the Eagles commented on something? He's under contract.
Yeah, now Vic Fangio, if he was a different person, could come out and kind of say his own thing.
He could.
But I'll tell you exactly how this is going to play out. He's going to be here and he's going to sit down at training camp for the first media availability and look at the reporters and say, what, do you guys not expect me to be here in the Vic Fangio way? And that's going to be all we get about it.
Yeah. Or he's going to want to talk Phillies.
Yeah,
because
that could be too.
It'll be
we'll see
baseball
how the season
season.
goes.
not the way things are going.
I don't know. He'll probably be upset about the Phillies. That could happen.
That could be too. They're good stuff.
Also reacting to the Paul George suspension, 25 games. Our question, let's check our text line here, Connor. It's 610-632-0975. Do you even still get an emotional reaction at this point? I do. Johnny did, especially because they've been playing good basketball, and we just sung the praises of Paul George. It's amazing because
were just bragging
there
on
was nothing to sing the praises of him last year. Absolutely nothing. Before the signing even took place, John and I looked a certain executive right in the eyes and said, please don't do this. And there was nothing to celebrate about Paul George from the day he signed throughout all of last season. This year, even though it wasn't 30-point nights except for the one night where he hit the 9 threes, and I give him credit for that, we've been celebrating Paul George filling a role that this team needs. Defensive presence, can hit the spot up 3
and
occasionally.
He's done a fine job with it.
Is it worth the contract? Absolutely not. But we've said, you know what? At least we're getting something out of him this year. And then the same week, news breaks that he's suspended 25 games.
When the news came down, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I had somebody on the Flyers concourse tell me, because I was at the Flyers game. And I had a fan of the show say, "What do you think about Paul George?" I said, "Didn't you hear us bragging about him the other day?" He goes, "No,
just
what?
did.
No, you didn't see the story." And I'm like, "Oh God, what story?"
Oh, you didn't see it?
No, I hadn't
that's
seen it.
awesome.
I hadn't seen it. I was like, "Oh, jeez."
That's actually
I
awesome.
said, "You got to be kidding me."
It's a shame, but it's awesome.
Man, what do you think about Paul George? I'm like, "Yeah, we were just bragging on him the other day."
What do we
That's
got
great.
on the text line, Connor? It's 610-632-0975.
Jude from Yardley checks in and says, "Gotta love prescription P. Is there any way to get out of this contract? Worst contract in NBA history."
Well, maybe not worst contract in NBA history. Andrew Bynum would like to say a thing or two, but the problem is it's all Sixers related.
I'm not get. By the way, I'm not get. Even though I do chuckle at the name, I'm not guessing prescription P. Because prescription P would mean you took something and it's simple to just have the doctor and the prescription cleared. Could be done within 120 minutes.
Yeah.
Couple hours.
I believe our old buddy Tyrone Johnson called him pill-off P on social media instead of playoff
I'm not
P.
guessing prescription.
Oh, God. What else we got?
We're on an all-time Philadelphia run right now.
Oh, there we go.
Max Kepler,
That's
Jose
good.
Alvarado.
This is great.
Paul
What
George.
else we got?
Jozempic.
Jason from Lehigh Valley checks in and says, on Paul George, you don't think his high-powered attorney came up with the mental health line, just use mental health to get ahead of it instead of taking accountability?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
Who doesn't, seriously, at this point? When all of the almost uniformly, the biggest names that cover the NBA that are ex-players are all saying either something's fishy here, something's not right, this is such a simple thing to not have happen to you. I don't know what's going on here. That's all you need to know, guys.
Look, and
nobody has his back.
The simple thing that could have been avoided is my biggest thing. Like, I will, out of respect, take him at the word of mental health. However, this is
you have to give me the scenario.
the most lenient league out of the four majors. Do you fight back on that?
No, it's the most lenient. But you have to give me the scenario. If we're gonna play Scooby-Doo here, and you're gonna buy into this, you have to give me the Scooby-Doo scenario that you're buying into.
What
you're saying? If I'm gonna take him at his word on mental health, give me the scenario. What's the scenario?
I don't know what you mean by the scenario.
What do you think is the scenario that you're buying into? That it's a mental health related thing. What is it?
He took something he legitimately needed and didn't report it.
Or
because of his mental health, he would. If he
I
went,
don't
you
know
mean he
why-
went.
no,
If
I
he
don't know why he
legitimately needed it, that means he went to a doctor.
Yeah, and probably didn't put it through the system, and then just never got it checked, and then got drug tested, and then
If
got
he goes
got.
to a doctor, I am believing with almost no certainty, like 0%, that if he took the time to go to a legitimate doctor, that the doctor, with all NBA players, would not go, make sure, just put this through. It's as simple as scanning it and sending it into an NBA portal.
right.
I mean, so I'm not buying that scenario
What I'm
at
saying
all.
at the taking at his word is that he feels the need to take something for his mental health. That's
Okay.
what I'm going to take him at his word for. But again, I'm trying to make this as clear as possible. It does not excuse the fact that he took something that is not on what I believe is a very, very CVS receipt-like length list of things that the NBA, hell, we're talking marijuana the NBA's fine with. The NBA is fine with a lot of things. I see Ja Morant doing a lot of dumb stuff. There's a lot of things that the NBA lets slide. So for him to get pinched for this is just negligence. And that's what I'm upset about the most is I'm all for it, brother. Take care of yourself. But there are things that this league is very, very, very liberal about.
This doesn't sound like taking care of yourself to me at all. I'm not buying into that at all. This doesn't sound like something you're taking care of yourself. Not to me at all. This sounds something more, because it would be really easy to give the scenario where you say, hey, here's what happened. I did something. I went to a doctor. A doctor gave me something. I was negligent and didn't run the prescription past the NBA. It's a simple explanation. Then everybody go, okay, then that's what happened.
Now,
it's documented.
Maybe that happens. Maybe we get that because he does return this season. He will have a press conference, like a post-game media availability. I'm not saying like he sits at the podium to address this, but at some point this year, he's going to speak to the media after a game. And that's the first question will not be, hey, Paul, how'd it feel to be back?
I think it's going to be podcast fodder.
Is he still doing it? Because I don't. I've not been following the Paul
He'll find
George
some way. He'll find
podcast career.
He's going to find some way to say I'm not talking about this. I'll say it right now. He's going to find some way to say I'm not talking about it.
I imagine he's asked about it whenever he returns.
And he won't talk about it. He'll hide behind whatever he's going to hide behind, and then on his podcast, he may have this deep on this special episode of Blossom. He'll talk about it.
I think the podcast P's done, right?
I
remember last year. It was
asking the wrong guy.
It was the focus. It was the focus on the team last year.
No, he stopped, but then he went back.
Oh, did he? Okay.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So he's like AJ Brown on Twitter.
But I don't know if they're weekly or quarterly. I don't know what it comes out.
All right. We'll continue talking about it because it's just another day in Sixers land. I want to play that. Here's Nick Nurse. Go ahead.
What was your first reaction? I think we've talked about that I don't know how many times here, but you get the punch to the gut. But listen, I've got to lead the charge here, right? I've got to lead the charge of we got to pull our socks up a little tighter and we got to get fighting and we got to get to work. And again, all those guys I just mentioned have to embrace this opportunity. And we've got some different positions and some guys that have shown some good play and all that kind of stuff. And here's a chance for them to do it again. We'll go from there.
I feel for him, man.
Well, and so here's the thing.
I feel
by the
for
way,
him.
the question was, do you get a sense of, oh, man, not again? And he goes, yeah, like that's the immediate reaction. And that's the immediate reaction that every Sixers fan gets at this point. Like, are you kidding me? Here's another thing. I feel for him, too. There are people that don't like Nick Nurse, think he stinks, all this kind of stuff. Last year, other than the pain that I've dealt with watching the Sixers at times last year, I can completely erase everything from my memory from last season. Like Nick Nurse and his coaching strategies.
Yeah, what did he?
He was playing with G League guys.
Yeah, last year he was going to he was going to the card table.
They shut down Maxey and George when Embiid had already been out. So a team this year with Maxey, Embiid, and George did not exist last year. And there are people that were questioning his coaching decisions. I don't get it.
I completely write off last year.
So this year they're finally clicking. And then this pops up. Like, I do feel bad for Nick Nurse.
So do I.
I do and I don't.
I get it. He's making millions of dollars.
No, it's not even that. I feel bad for him as the coach of the Sixers right now, but Nick Nurse is a blip on the radar of Sixers history in this what in the world is going on. It's like looking at the new hire that started at the company last year, complaining about the way things go about, and you're like, I'm a tenured employee here. You don't know the wars that I've seen, Nick.
Yeah, but he was brought in, when Brett Brown dealt with this, Brett Brown could have sucked regardless, right? Because Brett Brown was not a head coach in the NBA. Right, and then they started winning 50 games because the talent was good. And then you found out that he got coach circles around him come playoff time because he wasn't a good coach. Doc Rivers, there's a history of him collapsing in playoffs, right? Including Paul George. There's a history of his collapses in the playoffs. Nick Nurse is looked at as a guy where it's like, all right, this is a respected mind in the NBA. And he comes here and he's got to deal with this every other day, just like we deal with it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm just saying we got a decade plus on Nick Nurse when it comes to dealing with the Sixers stuff.
And that's why I wonder, do people still get an emotional reaction at this point?
And two, and you know why I feel bad about him? Because of the fact that you had a guy, Paul George, that won't talk about his own business and hides behind a press release. You have the head coach has to go out and talk about his business to the public. That sucks.
Yeah.
Talking about somebody else's stuff. You have to be the one answering questions about it because the grown man who could go answer the questions about it won't do it. That sucks. Really bad.
Good news is Daryl Morey will speak on it in a couple days because the NBA trade deadline is
You think so?
February. Well, no, it has to.
No, but do you think he's going to speak about it?
He'll be asked about it.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to speak about it.
He's not really a duck questions guy. He might give you a nothing burger, but he'll answer.
But I think he's going to give you just nothing. So I don't think he's going to be. You can ask all you want. I think they're all going to because I think they're exhausted with it too. I think if you could get them off microphone, they're exhausted with it too.
Yeah,
having to deal with this childish stuff that they constantly
There's a lot
have
to be
do.
exhausted about when it comes to
it's
Sixers.
bad.
All right. Jalen Hurts. Speaking of coordinators, because we've been talking about the news that came out over the weekend that Vic Fangio did consider retirement. Last week, we reacted to the Eagles' hiring of Sean Mannion, the new OC for the Philadelphia Eagles, 33-year-old, just 2 years in the NFL as a coach. Obviously, was a backup for many years, bounced around a little bit. And Jalen Hurts had minimal say in it.
I love it.
Me too.
The thing I like best about it is that Jalen's had plenty of say. and it hasn't been the best when he's had plenty of saves.
By the way, this isn't even a Jalen thing to me. I didn't really want Nick to have much say in it.
Oh, I didn't want Nick.
I wanted Howie Roseman.
I would rather have had Jalen have more say than Nick.
Sure. Whoever you wanted more say in. But all I wanted was Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie in a room with their candidates and say, this is the guy or this is not the guy.
And to me, I think that, look, is when Brian Johnson got hired, it was with the full endorsement of Jalen Hurts. Last year when they brought in a coordinator from in-house.
Not so much an endorsement from Hurts.
Not so much an endorsement. We talked about it. It was, And then we find out that potentially he ran all over his offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Which isn't good.
No, it's not.
And we don't want that. And so the Sean Mannion stuff and reading more of the stuff out of Green Bay, that's one thing I can guarantee. Jalen Hurts won't be running all over Sean Mannion. That's not happening. It's not his nature. It's not his MO. It's not his personality. That's not happening. And something tells me that may be exactly why he was hired.
Yeah. Look, I mean,
that this is a guy who can walk into a room and he's like, dude, I'm 6'6" or whatever he is, 6'7". He's the tallest NFL head coach ever.
I did not know his measurables.
He's the tallest coach ever.
Wow.
In NFL history.
Did they do a coaching combine?
Yeah, they had said he's now as the coaches. They had the other day
What's his wingspan
on NFL Network. They said the other day he's the coach. He's the tallest coordinator ever.
How about that?
Now.
What's his cone drill time?
Well, he's a. If you have not seen him, he's a big, imposing guy. Nobody's going into a room and bullying Sean Mannion, and Sean Mannion with his personality, as Sean McVay has said in interviews, one of the mouthiest quarterbacks that he's ever had in a quarterback room. As far as they do a lot of give and take. What do you like? What do you don't like? What's going on? Is this play good? Is this and Sean Mannion, the backup quarterback, one of the mouthiest quarterbacks, and McVay loved it.
How about that?
Loved the give and take. Loved it. But so this guy's not shy.
Well, there could also be more changes. Mike Garafolo yesterday.
Okay. I was over the weekend.
Expect some changes to the Eagles' offensive coaching staff.
Yay!
New OC Sean Mannion met with position coaches on Friday and is huddling with Nick Sirianni on which to retain. I love how it's Mannion is allowed to say on which to retain. The team wants to give Mannion some of his own guys to help him. Expect a blend of old and new. We talked a lot about Jeff Stoutland last week. I imagine that Jeff Stoutland is back, but there's a lot of people wondering, is Aaron Moorhead back, right? The wide receivers coach. How did the wide receivers play this year? That could be a bit of a change. So it looks like Sean Mannion is not a guy that's just walking in and saying yes, sir, to everybody.
What the wide receivers were expected to do in Green Bay and what the wide receivers, by the way, what the wide receivers have done the last 2 years in Philadelphia is inadequate. Yes,
considering who they are.
Yeah, they won a Super Bowl. But you could ask is, what would the brightest offensive minds in the game have done with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in them? I would expect that there will be a new wide receiver coach.
Yeah. New wide receivers coach. Kevin Patullo gets a job somewhere, right?
Yeah, I have a feeling he's going to be one of the ones that might take a new job.
He should.
Yes.
For his own pride.
He should. No, and he'll get a job somewhere. Good. Not going to be a coordinator.
Coming up next, speaking of the coaching staff potential changes, are we about to see a new-look Eagles? And are you ready for that? I'll explain more coming up next. It's Kincade and Salciunas here on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers lose PG to suspension. I'm Connor Thomas, and the NBA announced on Saturday that Paul George would be suspended 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. Head coach Nick Nurse reacted to the news over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, disappointed for sure. But those guys that have been playing, we got to figure out who's going to replace some of the things he does and the positionally and defensively and shots and all that kind of stuff.
It's just another thing for the Sixers to try and overcome. They've been playing good basketball lately, but this is a big blow for them. Despite the news, they were able to find a win over the Pelicans on Saturday. They're back on the floor tonight in L.A. against the Clippers. 10 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game live here on the Fanatic. Flyers fell to the Kings in overtime on Saturday. They got 2 more games before they hit the long Olympic break. Next up, they got a home matchup with the Capitals tomorrow night. As for the Eagles, we're still learning more about the 2 new offensive coaches they've added, with new offensive coordinator Sean Mannion and pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard. We're going to keep you updated on what they might do with the rest of the staff as well. And the Vic Fangio news over the weekend reports that he has considered retirement, but is expected to return. None of that guaranteed, so we'll keep an eye on that as well. Bobby Barks of ESPN joins us coming up at 8:35 to break down the Paul George contract situation. Greg Altman of Fox at 9:05 to talk about Josh Grizzard. This update's brought to you by AppleVacations.com. Is more travel part of your New Year's resolution? Apple Vacations can help save up to 40% on flight and hotel vacation packages now through February 2nd. Visit AppleVacations.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the Best Birds coverage, 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Fanatic.
7 a.m. hour is brought to you by the BetParks online casino and sportsbook app. Live bet sports on the BetParks app. Play all your favorite casino games. There's always another way to win on the BetParks online casino and sportsbook. Got to be 21 in Pennsylvania, Jersey, or Maryland. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Connor, I need the breaking news sounder, please, as it is 7:30.
Now, breaking sports news from 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
You just have to take out the word sports. It's
What?
not breaking sports news.
What are we doing here?
Punxsutawney Phil has seen a shadow, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, we knew that was coming.
6 more weeks of winter. You mean all the camera flashes that
I'm going to skin that ground.
Well, no, because sometimes he doesn't. I mean, sometimes he doesn't. But they looked at the weather forecast, and they knew that for the next 3 weeks, for the next, 18 days, we're in it. So they knew.
I'm a Gus guy, always have been, and Phil is on the hot seat.
Do you guys remember last year we talked about it, we ripped it, and there were people that were upset? You guys remember that?
Yeah, and listen,
Wait a
Peter
minute, they ripped us
we were on the air last year during Groundhog Day, and we said a similar thing of this is bogus. Why do people believe in this? And we had people call in, email that they're from that area, and they're like, this is a big deal for us, blah blah. And I'm like,
Okay.
well, I'm not trying to.
You can. It's a big deal for you. Great.
I'm not trying to disrespect.
Yeah, all due respect to Gobbler's Knob. I'd like some warm
seriously.
weather.
But I'm not going to listen to a groundhog.
Damn rodent.
Well, first off, there's no science to it, so it's like you're just.
Yeah, of course there's no science.
No, what I'm saying is if you told me hey, 85% of the time when this happens, you have no more winter. That's fine.
Yeah,
it's totally.
I was saying, happy anniversary. People got upset with us last year.
He's not me with the coin toss.
By the way, every single day people get upset with us, so I could say happy anniversary every single day. All right, so I say going into the break, are we about to see a new look Eagles, and are you ready for that? You guys realize that the Eagles could change a lot in the next year or two.
Explain.
Players are going to be on their way out. We've already seen it, right? Josh Sweat last year was a staple with the Eagles for a long time, and they did not bring him back, and I was not against that idea. Brandon Graham retired. Now, he came back. But not just players. Like Dallas Goedert, for all we know, could be on his way out this year. A.J. Brown, there's enough smoke there, right? He's probably going to get traded this offseason. We're going to see changes to the coaching staff. Vic Fangio is not getting any younger. So even though it seems like he's coming back this year, this could be the last year
it could very well be.
Of Vic Fangio. We're seeing a lot of changes. There will be a day soon where Jeffrey Lurie is no longer the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. We've hinted at that a couple of times.
No, it's not even a hint. Julian Lurie will take over this team, but it's still going to be.
No, it's still going to be the Lurie family.
Right, but it's going to be different.
Yes.
Things are going to be different, and who knows, Julian is going to be a different leadership because I believe that, and I told you the other day that I have a wild amount of respect for the way that he is being brought up in the organization because he's being made to work in it.
Yeah.
There are silver spoon kids in the NFL.
Right, no, he's he went to the Reese Senior Bowl. He's done all that stuff.
But he also has had to work in different departments in the he's had to work.
Dad didn't just give him a job.
There are other silver spoon kids that get to just follow around dad and do things. He works. So I have a lot of admiration for it.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be in very good hands when Julian takes over because I think he's going to do things a lot to the same caliber that his father ran the organization.
It's just, it might be a whole different looking Eagles.
It might be.
In 5 years?
No. 5 years, absolutely, it's going to be different.
It's going to look totally different. And think about it. A lot of it also hinges on the future of Lane Johnson because Lane Johnson, even though Brandon Graham retired and came back, those are the last two guys, and Jake Elliott, who could also be gone, should be gone this offseason from the Super Bowl team. Right? Those are the only three guys left that were on the active roster. I'm not missing anybody.
No, I don't think you're any problem there.
No, I don't think so.
And so those guys are going to be gone. There's this feeling that the Eagles have just been this consistent group, which they have been, even though the seasons have not necessarily been consistent. We might see a totally different looking Eagles franchise in the next couple of years, and I wonder if people are ready for that.
I think it's I believe there's going to be and we'll probably hear it on the text line, Connor, that when we have this conversation, I think there's going to be some people that are like, I'm ready for it. even though this organization's had nothing but success.
Exactly. That's
But
the crazy
there are going to
thing.
be some people that, no, but I understand. There's going to be some people who would be like, yeah, I'm ready for it. Let's try something a little bit different. Let's have a new set of eyes on some things.
Yeah.
Because the one thing we know is this organization has had a ton of turnover. Like, it's been a constant churning of turnover.
And the NFL kind of makes you do that.
Yeah. It's to me, like I heard Bill Colorillo the other day. And I love Bill, and I love listening to Unfiltered in the afternoon. And now that I'm teaching 2 days a week, I get to hear some good unfiltered time as I sit in traffic.
Hell yeah.
On the way home from Temple. Bill referred to the Nick Sirianni coaching tree. And there was almost a pileup on the Schuylkill because I almost drove into the guardrail. Or not guardrail, the cement pylons, whatever they call them. The Nick Sirianni coaching tree. He doesn't have a coaching tree. I could give him a lifelong supply of Miracle Grow. What's his coaching tree?
Kellen Moore, bro.
We all fertilize.
No.
He established Kellen Moore in the NFL.
He did not establish Kellen Moore in the NFL. He did not.
Vic Fangio.
No, he did not.
He established Vic Fangio. When Vic Fangio decides to leave for a head coaching job, it was because of Nick Sirianni.
He was already a head coach beforehand. He is not a head. Nick Sirianni does not have a coaching tree. Stop it.
Steichen Gannon?
No.
Not giving credit there?
No, Steichen and Gannon are not his coaching tree. Steichen is another guy who he's here. Look, he's going to be attached.
You got to give him a little credit for those guys.
No, Steichen had to take over for him.
Yeah, but he brought him on board.
Steichen had to take over and bail him out.
Yeah, but he brought him on board.
No, he had to bail his backside out 7 games into his NFL coaching career. And he had nothing to do with Gannon. He had nothing to do with it.
He brought him in.
He brought him in.
He brought him in. That's part
great.
That's
part
of it.
Okay, so we'll give him Gannon. He has a limb off the tree.
Yeah.
Gannon now with the
I'm not even a big Jonathan
with
Gannon
the Green
guy.
Bay Packers.
Yes.
He was whatever you think about Gannon, the league thinks of him because immediately when he was available, he had 3-4 teams that were like,
and
there's
going to be a really good defense.
And he went to the Packers.
Yeah.
Did you walk here? Did you have a fire in your gut?
Yeah, that was the weird dude. That guy, he's a weird dude. He's probably a good coordinator, Jonathan Gannon.
No, I mean, he's one of those guys. Yeah,
he's like
exactly.
Gabe Kapler. You just kind of stand to the side, do your thing. All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? At 610-632-0975. By the way, we got today's headlines coming up, and I know Connor's been mentioning it in his updates. Bobby Marks is going to be joining us coming up at 8:35.
I thought he does middays here.
No, that's Johnny Marks.
Oh, Johnny Marks.
Bobby Marks, former GM in the NBA, now sort of the GM guy for the NBA on ESPN. When the news came out about Paul George, and our question for you today at 610-632-0975 is whether or not you still get emotional reactions to any bit of bad news for the Sixers, because we've just been showered with it for a long time now.
Sure.
Paul George, this suspension actually helps the Sixers out financially from a cap standpoint.
Explain this a little bit.
Well, I'll have Bobby explain it more in an hour, but bottom line is all the talk about trading Kelly Oubre or Andre Drummond to get under the tax, to avoid the luxury tax that the NBA and some owners are so afraid of. Paul George's suspension takes money off the books, which means they will be under the tax. So you do not have to trade Andre Drummond and Kelly Oubre. Not that they ever had to, but they don't have to trade him to try to get under this line. Remember, we played the clip from Embiid last week where Joel Embiid says, hey, we've been ducking the tax the last couple of years. I really hope we don't do that this year. The vibes are great here. We're playing good basketball. Paul George's suspension takes them under that line, and now the Sixers don't have to, quote-unquote, move anybody to get under the tax. If anything, it actually gives them an opportunity to be a little bit more aggressive at the trade deadline to acquire a
The only
player.
thing I don't like about the wording, they didn't have to.
Exactly. They never had to.
It's that they wanted.
to.
And now they want to. Now they could just move, what's that, Eric Gordon or somebody really? They can move some real
It doesn't
cheap,
have to be Oubre, who's actually helping you.
Some real cheap little contract.
And it
that they
doesn't
can
have to
get
be
rid of.
Andre Drummond, who doesn't play when Embiid plays, but when Embiid doesn't play, he plays.
There
And
you
you
go.
need him to. What do we got on the text line?
Joe the Cynic checks in on the Paul George conversation, says the PG suspension was just another box to check off the bingo card for how the Sixers can find another distraction. It's almost like they're still paying for the poor decisions of the past.
Look, I joked about it, but I'm serious. They ran out of meniscus tears, we hope, on their Uno deck. They ran out of peanut allergies. They had to find the next thing, the next card that they could draw from the deck. 25-game suspension for using a substance that's not allowed by the league.
It really is Groundhog Day, isn't it?
That's what I said this morning. I woke up and I said that before I even got in the shower. I'm like, we deal with this stuff all the time.
Think about it.
It's unbelievable.
I know nobody wants to shed tears for Joel Embiid, and you can't, because a lot of it was brought upon himself. That Celtics series was on him and James Harden. The Hawks series, I understand the past dunk heard around the world was a problem. Joel Embiid had like 8 turnovers in that game, so it's not like he was great either. The poop gate against the Raptors because he's going out too late with Trevor Noah, like that's on him.
The fact they're hanging out with Trevor Noah is enough. That's enough to be fine.
So maybe we shouldn't shed tears for Joel Embiid, but we can shed tears for ourselves. Markelle Fultz lost all the confidence in the world and disappeared. Ben Simmons, who should have had the same growth as Giannis Antetokounmpo, didn't have it.
Nope.
Zaire Smith, who the organization, Brett Brown, interim GM, thought could be the next Kawhi Leonard, which he never was going to be, by the way.
The kid is a baller.
He's a baller, star hunting. He can't play because of a peanut allergy. There are young players that they just let go, and they end up being champions, Isaiah Joe.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Every player has had some sort of side quest. It's like you're playing a video game. There's the main story, and then they have their own side quest. It's unbelievable. This crap, almost said a different word.
Okay, give me a soap opera analogy for that, and I'll catch it.
That we had dealt with.
Yeah, it's good. With lots of it.
My God.
Terrible.
All right, coming up next, it is today's headlines with Connor Thomas and Andrew Salciunas, because I have a story, Johnny.
Really? You're going to step on Connor? Step over.
How the best in the game took a major gamble.
Uh-oh.
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
You know, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and that means you may be looking to pop the question. So if you're going to pop the question, I've already got the answer for you, and that's Benari Jewelers. And while Benari Jewelers right now is having their annual bridal bash, it's amazing. Mark your calendars, but it's only good through this weekend, February the 7th. Benari's Bridal Bash brings great specials for you. How about 12 months financing on engagement rings and wedding bands, and something amazing and exciting for you, a chance to win $1,000. Benari is the area's diamond experts, and they have a great team that is going to introduce you to all the top designers, the ones she knows from her Instagram and Pinterest dream boards. They got every style, every setting you could ever imagine. They're going to help you create the perfect ring of her dreams, whether it's white gold, yellow gold, platinum, or more. During Benari's Bridal Bash, they're going to make sure you save more. They're going to even give you 1 year to finance it based on approval. So your dollar's going to go further, and at Benari, you know she's going to get something, well, that you're not picking up at the mall. That's Benari's Bridal Bash. Don't miss it. Now through February the 7th at their 2 great locations, Exton and Newtown Square. These people are absolutely the best, but the Bridal Bash only lasts through the 7th. So get your details now at BenariJewelers.com.
Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic and the Fanatic app.
It is 7:47 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. By the way, Zach Berman just tweeted something out less than 10 minutes ago. Johnny and I, the algorithm's cooking today. We got the same tweet. NFL is returning to Spain next season. They got a game in Madrid. And the Bears, Chiefs, and Dolphins all have the marketing rights for Spain. And the Eagles play the Bears next season. So there could be an Eagles-Bears matchup in Madrid.
Ooh.
I'd imagine that they would want that game in Chicago for one of the networks because Fox would probably want that game.
I would say the same thing, but Eagles-Packers was a pretty good draw, and that was in Sao Paulo.
Yeah, but that was the kickoff game of the year. That was the kickoff game. The Bears game won't be kickoff game. See, it's the little bit difference.
Could it not be the Friday game?
No, the kickoff game. The first game of the year was the Eagles, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't the kickoff game because the Chiefs played first.
Oh, the Chiefs played. Yeah, the Chiefs played.
Remember Chiefs
that could
Chargers?
Be. No, that could be.
Was Chiefs Chargers in Brazil?
That'd be a pretty attractive game.
Yeah, so
by that regard.
For all we know, Eagles-Bears could be the Friday night
I'd rather play
second game of the year.
I'd rather play the Bears in Spain than play them in Chicago.
Yeah,
I agree.
Absolutely.
Does it snow in Spain?
I don't know.
I don't know.
It snowed
I'm gonna guess no.
Snowed in Florida. So
all right.
Who knows?
Time now for today's headlines with Connor Thomas and me.
Today's headlines with the Connor Thomas.
And the Andrew Salciunas. It's brought to us by Lundy Law. For over 70 years, Lundy Law has been fighting for injured people. So if your host is stepping on your toes, taking over your segment, if you need them, remember the name Lundy Law, your injury lawyers.
Why I'm letting you go first.
That's LundyLaw.com. Okay, we'll start off with one. We'll fit you right in the middle of the two things that I have here. We're going to start off with something that actually fits in a little bit with you here, Salciunas. You're going to have to help me with the name pronunciation to make sure I get it right. So Yuki Kawamura plays for the Chicago Bulls. He is a tall 5'7", the shortest player in Chicago Bulls history. And we had a fun moment as he matched up with Kasparas Jakučiūnas.
Yep, good job.
There we go.
Yeah,
Lithuanian.
You missed it. I brought him up last week.
Well, he's being brought up again.
Culture.
Because they went up in a jump ball. He's 6'5". It did not go his way.
And he gets the jump ball. We're going to see Jakučiūnas and Yuki on a jump ball. We're going to see the shortest player in Bulls history go up for a jump ball.
Look at the Bulls bench laughing. They're like a little honey badger out there. He's just snatching the ball. I'm jumping Yuki.
With this thing. I want to see it. But he won the tap. He won the tap. So, not surprised at all. Earlier this year, Matas Buzelis, who also plays for the Bulls, had a ridiculous dunk earlier this season. It made like the SportsCenter top 10 plays. And I put out a tweet, and I quote, "Can confirm it's the first Lithuanian that could ever jump." We don't got hops, man.
Yeah, jumps are not your thing.
We don't have hops.
I'd rather see the other Yuki out there. I'd rather see CBS 3's Yuki Washington.
Oh, how about that?
Who can ball? I think Yuki's probably 6'4", 6'5".
Yeah, he could win a
I
jump.
think he can win I don't know if he still wants to jump, but
yeah, but if the announcer sounded overly excited about that, it's because the Bulls ended up losing by 43
yeah,
points.
they were looking for something.
That was the most exciting thing that happened in that game.
Yeah.
That's
what
excellent.
do you got, Andy?
Would you trust yourself so much if you were Paul Skeens, the best pitcher in Major League Baseball?
Oh, I saw this.
with what?
He's doing some off-season work, and guess who stood into the box? Livy.
Why wouldn't he?
Would you trust yourself so much? You're throwing 100. Now, he took a little something off.
This was like
course.
75-80 that
Still
he was
for
throwing.
social media.
Still 75-80. Would you trust yourself? By the way, he's not going full tilt. So he's not probably doing his full work ethic. And your girlfriend, how tall is she? 5. If you want to talk about Yuki.
5'5".
She's even smaller.
5'4".
And pitch with her in the box.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't do it. I would be peeing myself.
Dude, I trust myself, and I'm a nobody. He's Paul Skeens. He's a Cy Young winner. He can throw down the middle.
I've seen you hit a batter.
Yeah, he was asking for it.
I would not trust myself, even though I'm the best at the game, pitching against my girlfriend in the batter's box.
At that speed, that's like soft toss for him.
She was in the back of the box.
Like, exactly.
On the back line outside.
I would be too scared to do it. My palms would be sweating, these weak arms and heavy, and then I'd be trying to pitch, and then maybe one slides, and then you hit her. That's bad. You don't want that to happen.
It is a dangerous thing, but
I saw it and I was scared.
Everyone got out unscathed. Just threw one down the middle. So totally fine there. One other thing, we don't get as hyped up about this because the NHL does it a bunch now, but they're still doing their Stadium Series games, and every once in a while one catches our eye. There was a great one last night down in Tampa Bay. A lot of cool stuff with this game. First of all, they had the in-between period breaks. They had the crew dressed up as pirates on the pirate ship down at Raymond James because it was outside in Tampa. It was a 5-1 score in favor of Boston. Tampa Bay comes all the way back, their biggest goal deficit overcome in franchise history. We had a goalie fight with Andrei Vasilevsky and Jeremy Swayman going at it. Do you guys get into this Stadium Series at all with the NHL?
No, I think it's sort of played out to me a little bit, unless it's really. But that's interesting. And how did they luck out that Florida had one of its coldest days?
Right.
In they woke up to one of the coldest day ever for that date, and I mean that's just called lucking out.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
The Stadium Series does nothing for me.
The one in Miami sucked.
It looked horrible.
I mean, it's too much.
If you're there, I imagine it's a cool experience.
Yeah,
I think that's a great point.
You can't see anything.
And when you're watching on TV, you're just watching the ice. You're watching, okay, here's a cutaway shot. We're going into commercial. So here's a cutaway shot of something different.
People went to the Flyers one in New Jersey a few years ago. I couldn't go. I was sick. I was doing my treatments. They said they watched it on the Jumbotron.
Yeah, it's
because you couldn't follow it, and they were in the second tier of the stadium. It was like they were expecting more.
Kind of a scam. You're not really getting anything out of it. I don't know. It does nothing for me.
Not for me either.
I know how excited teams get for it. I still go back to the one on the where was it? Where
Lake Tahoe.
Lake Tahoe. The ice was melting.
They had to delay the game by 4 hours.
There's always so weird. Last night at one point, I think it was in the first period, dude gets checked into the boards and a door opens.
Yeah,
the guy
honestly,
stayed on the ice, but still.
Sports is all about player safety half the time, right? And we're playing on the Lake Tahoe when the sun was setting and the goalie couldn't see. It's like Jerry World.
It was one hell of a sunset.
Do you know yesterday was funny that some of the ex-players who joined us on the broadcast yesterday with Ricky and I, players aren't allowed in the dunk tank. And players aren't allowed to take shots on goal. You used to be able to take a shot on goal against Bernie Perron, against Kelly Lindbergh, against all those players.
But yeah, let's play on Lake Tahoe when the ice is melting.
You're not allowed to do that at the Flyers Carnival anymore.
Yeah.
Not us. We'll be in that dunk tank. I guess we're tougher. I guess we're tougher.
It's for the kids.
Great job.
Salciunas and I, hockey.
Go ahead. You go tell that to a player that you're tougher. All right, coming up next, the pattern continued for the Eagles. Why? Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
George out 25 games. I'm Connor Thomas, and the NBA announced on Saturday the Sixers' Paul George would be suspended 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. Head coach Nick Nurse had a chance to react over the weekend, talk with the media. He talked about the guys having to step up in the absence of PG.
I think there's a number of guys there to do it, and that's where we are. And we've been in this kind of next man up mentality for quite a while, and we're going to have to dig in and do it again.
And today on Groundhog Day, it definitely feels like that's the case for the Sixers. Despite the news, they were able to find a win over the Pelicans on Saturday. They're back on the floor tonight in L.A. against the Clippers. 10 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game live right here on the Fanatic. The Flyers fell to the Kings in overtime on Saturday. They have 2 more games before they hit the Olympic break. Next up is going to be a home matchup with the Capitals tomorrow night. And as for the Eagles, we're still learning more about the 2 new offensive coaches, offensive coordinator Sean Mannion, pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard. We're going to keep you updated on that. Also some news on Vic Fangio over the weekend with reports that he's been considering retirement, expected to return, but that's not a guarantee, so something to keep an eye on. We'll talk to Bobby Marks coming up at 8:35 for his thoughts on the Paul George situation. Greg Allman of Fox, who knows Josh Grizzard from down in Tampa Bay, will join us at 9:05. This update's brought to you by Uber Eats. You hungry? Good thing Uber Eats has a great deal waiting for you at La Scala's from now to 3:31. Get a buy one, get one free deal on Rigatoni Vodka on the app. Order now only on Uber Eats. Terms apply. See app for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic.
More of Kincade and Salciunas coming your way now.
It is 8 a.m. on this Monday morning. Hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. We may hit 30 degrees today. We may see some of the snow melt. By the way, I don't know if it's still going on, but be careful if you're driving on City Avenue. I saw on the news near Haverford Ave, water main break. Happened overnight. And what happens when there's water and freezing cold temperatures?
I believe it freezes.
Yes. So frozen roads, City Avenue, I saw on the news this morning. So be careful, everybody. I mean, there's just ice patches, everybody.
Also,
everywhere.
I need to be able to park in the city. Parking's still a mess. Melt the snow.
I made a stop at a great establishment Friday. Went to Yards.
Oh,
You were
lovely.
supposed to be there, but you were under the weather.
I was a little sick.
I don't know how people in the city are doing it. Like, there's just nowhere to park. Thankfully, there's a parking lot for Yards, but my little Honda Civic, even with the open spots, getting into said open spots and then exiting said open spots would be a problem. It's unbelievable, this cold streak that we've been going on. Johnny's been talking about how it's like the longest or second longest in our lifetime. So it's crazy, and hopefully it breaks this week because, damn, do we need it. I know it's going to be freaking cold later in the week, but hopefully some of the snow melts the next couple of days. All right, don't forget, coming up 8:35, so 35 minutes from now, Bobby Marks is going to be joining us. He'll be able to tell us sort of how the suspension of Paul George helps the Sixers from a cap standpoint, strictly. Because people saying, well, this is good because it means he's going to be healthier come playoff time, and they don't have to trade Kelly Oubre and all that kind of stuff. All that's great if you're looking at it from strictly the positive way of looking at it. They're only a game and a half up with the Miami Heat right now. The Sixers, we can say, are only 1.5 back of the 4 seed, the Toronto Raptors, because that is true. They're only a game and a half back of the 4 seed, but they're only a game and a half up of the 7 seed. They're only 2 games up of the Orlando Magic, who are the 8th seed. They're only 4 games up. I don't know how much of an impact Paul George's absence will be. They're only 4 games up of the Bulls, so you wouldn't even be hosting the play-in game if you fall that far.
And Ricky will talk about it today on Unfiltered. I believe this is going to knock them into the play-in tournament. I want to be more confident than that, but 25 games without what Paul George has been a part of, and remember the way the condensed schedule, and then the days that Embiid's not playing, and
yeah. Now the days that Embiid wasn't playing, Paul George wasn't playing with either.
Yeah, well now you're not getting. It's going to be rough.
Yeah,
it's going to be rough.
It's going to be, and you know what else it's going to be rough for? How many times have we been talking about how Maxi's minutes need to like come down a little bit?
That's what I believe.
He's going to have to play.
You're breaking the wheels off
more.
Maxi.
There's a lot of guys that are going to have to play a lot more basketball with Paul George being out. But can the Sixers get creative? The trade deadline, February 5th. So this week, the NBA trade deadline.
So Thursday.
Yep. Can the
What
Sixers?
time is that? Do you know?
I guess
it's
3 o'clock.
Probably during Unfiltered.
I think it's 3 o'clock.
So they're probably during Unfiltered.
I don't think it's at 8 a.m., unfortunately, for us. So we may not get
3 p.m.
All right, so right during Unfiltered, you don't want to miss that. We'll be leading you up into it, and then we'll keep you up to date. I wouldn't expect anything, though.
No, I would imagine it's a role player, which they needed even with Paul George. But now that you're going to be missing him, you need to get some sort of wing score. That's what Amy's been saying constantly. You need something with this Sixers team, and they do kind of have the cap flexibility now.
A little more.
A little bit more. All right, we'll get back to our text line here in a minute, 610-632-0975. On post-show headlines, which is something that we do after the show every single day on YouTube. Just search 97.5 The Fanatic. There's a tab for post-show headlines. Kincade Salciunas.
Appreciate you getting to be a part of it, and so many of you have been doing that. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
very
we
much.
absolutely appreciate you guys. And, we get all kinds of random stuff. Sometimes sports, sometimes non-sports.
Very random at times, yes.
We do listener sent in questions. The last Fridays was all about conspiracy theories. It was a lot of fun. But John asked a question last week about why is it that the next year after the Eagles get to or win a Super Bowl in recent years has been like a major disappointment. And it's funny, I said something to John that actually made him think, which is always a troublesome thing, that the team with the least amount of expectations after getting to the Super Bowl actually had the best run. and it was the 2017-18 Eagles.
I'm still, when you said it, and we went off for a good 4 or 5 minutes on it, because it really caught me off guard. Because it was the team that, to me, should have had the least expectations.
They started the season hurt, right? Wentz gets hurt a second time.
Correct.
Nick Foles, I get it. Nick Foles won the Super Bowl, but people were wondering, all right, can they really recreate this magic? They lost players to injury. They lost players to free agency, just like every team in the NFL does. First place schedule, all that kind of stuff, just like the other two teams that got to the Super Bowl. But the 2017-18 Eagles, we talk about all the time, caught lightning in a bottle, right? It's why the story is so great. It's why there's a 30 for 30 that's dropping this Friday, right? There might not be a 30 for 30 on either of the two teams that are playing this weekend, the Seahawks or the Patriots. There could be a 30 for 30 on the story of Sam Darnold one day. Who knows if they run out of ideas? That could happen.
If he becomes a Super Bowl champion, there will be.
There probably will be.
No, there will be.
So the Eagles, that story is why you have documentaries on that team, because of it's not just Nick Foles being hurt. It's the whole team. There were so many injuries and so many questionable players on that team that won the Super Bowl. But the next year, I don't think anybody really thought they were going to do much. And yet, double doink. And if Alshon doesn't freaking drop that pass,
it would have been first. They would have been within the 15-yard line.
And I still believe they faced the Rams. And we know that Dougie P, for the longest time, we joked around about how Doug Peterson was Sean McVay's Doug Peterson was Sean McVay's dad. We had jokes about that. Right.
Kryptonite.
So who knows?
That's continued with Nick Sirianni.
That is, you're right. Maybe
Sirianni's his uncle.
Yeah, you're right.
No, I mean, it is continued. It's Sean McVay has had such great success. Not against the Eagles, he hasn't.
And so that team with the least amount of expectations actually did the best.
Why? But the thing is, though, is it really does annoy me a bit that what is it about their plan that doesn't allow them to sustain? Now, the 2017 champions, I didn't expect them to be, because I knew what they were.
Yeah, and they signed a bunch of guys, one-year deals.
I mean, I knew what they were, and I knew it was going to be really hard for them to repeat. And unlike you, I did the fat and happy syndrome.
No, I wanted more, baby.
I had lived my whole life waiting to see that moment, and I am embarrassed to say that as a fan that year, I was like, yeah, it's okay, yeah. I was still I was living off the high. I did not feel that way coming off the Super Bowl loss in 22 or the Super Bowl win in 24. Totally different.
Yeah, you wanted to get back. You wanted more.
But the 22 team, after losing, I felt great about their chances to win in 23. The 23 team, after the bad debacle, I said all summer long, they're going to be in the NFC title game. Don't know anything more than that, but that's where they're going to be. You and Connor have a broadcast that day. I knew they were going to be there. I felt they'd be there. Why can't this team sustain?
It's unbelievable.
This organization.
Because to just say the chalky, it's hard to repeat in the NFL. We get it, but there have been two teams that in recent memory that were dynasties, right? The Kansas City Chiefs were dynasties,
and the
New England Patriots was a dynasty.
And they did not find it that hard to.
They were able to get back.
Knock on the door over and over again.
I don't know why, John. I can't answer you that question.
Okay, give me a theory. Give me a theory in your head, something you think of, you and Connor. Give me something, because I honestly sort of need you to come up with something.
You can't even say playoff field, because let's face it, this year's playoff field was not that great.
Like people talking about, dude, Nick Sirianni, you're going to criticize Sirianni? He won a division this year. This division was terrible. The Catholic League was, honestly, I'm not sure Nick Sirianni wins the Catholic League this year. Not sure. Really don't think it might have been a nail biter for him. You don't brag to me about winning the NFC East this year. Stop it.
Sure.
Stop it.
I do think
when that banner goes up next year, which, by the way, I still think division banners suck for the Eagles. I think they're a different organization now.
Will Nick Sirianni know that it's banner night?
Oh, no. But if they brag about the banners.
I don't think they will. I think it's just going to be up. It's not going to be like the Phillies raising the flag. I think it's just going to be there.
You think it's just going to be up?
Yeah, it's just going to be there. I don't think they're going to make some big deal out of it.
Because to me, please, stop it.
I do believe, and it's a theory, right? If we're asking why the Eagles can't seem to continue the success the following season, something I complained about in 2017 was thank you contracts. There was a lot of, wow, we did it. Here's a 3-year deal for a lot of money, even though we typically don't do this with players at that age. Alshon Jeffrey went against what the Eagles typically do in terms of the age of players, right? They normally move on from a guy that's around 30 years old. Brandon Graham, even though it totally worked out for him, was an interesting contract extension that they gave him. There were a lot of players that got thank you contracts after that year. The last two, though, were not thank you contracts. It was, hey, Brian Johnson, good job. Hey, KP, great job. There was a lot of, I think, sentimentality with some people that kept their jobs or got promoted.
I think that's
I do
clear.
believe that's part of it.
And that's it. That's part of it, is the sentimentality. The idea of we can't. Now, 2023, you sort of can understand it because you lost 2 coordinators. 2025, this is an abomination. Like, what happened in 2025 is an abomination. If they did the Phillies thing and put out a video of the 2025 Eagles season, I do not want to watch it.
No.
I didn't enjoy it.
No, it was a boring.
I didn't enjoy
stressful,
I didn't enjoy
aggravating
the season. I found the season aggravating. I found it. I didn't find it. I usually go, wow, there's only 17 of these. Enjoy every one. I didn't find myself saying that hardly at all.
Yeah.
Like, it just didn't seem it.
Now, MBD chimes in on our YouTube chat, and maybe it is just this simple. We mentioned the 2 dynasties. He says Belichick, Brady, Reed, Mahomes, Sirianni, Hurts. Which pair doesn't belong? He's not wrong. Like, Hurts is nowhere near Tom Brady. He's nowhere near Patrick Mahomes. People will take offense that he's not. Even though Jalen Hurts has outdueled Patrick Mahomes in 2 Super Bowls now, he's nowhere near Patrick Mahomes. And I don't think anybody's going to say that Nick Sirianni is Bill Belichick or Andy Reid for his total career.
Okay. But the Eagles weren't built to be able to get back to the NFC title game or the Super Bowl this year in the NFC. They absolutely. Anybody who says the Eagles didn't have the roster and the opportunity to be in the NFC title game or the Super Bowl this year, just look at the league. They should have been.
Yeah, they should have been.
It's an embarrassment.
Hell, they could have been the 1 seed.
It's an embarrassment that they were not. How about this? It's an embarrassment that they didn't play. The embarrassment is they didn't play divisional playoff weekend. That they didn't survive a lousy 49ers team beating up 49ers.
That lost 41-6
that was
the very
hard.
Next week.
Like, they didn't win that game is horrendous. Then, to me, they should have been playing in the Final Four. And then, who knows what happens. Anything less than the Final Four with everything that was invested in this team is a joke. Thank you, Kevin Patullo. Thank you, Nick Sirianni, for promoting a guy who was not worthy of the job.
Damn right, John.
And I knew it all summer. Drives me nuts.
Per Mike Garafolo, we just told you about the game in Madrid where the Eagles could play the Chicago Bears. Not a lock, could. None of that's been announced yet.
Okay.
The games that have been confirmed so far, at least the locations, not the teams yet. Melbourne, Australia.
Melbourne?
That's a hike. It's a bit of a hike. I imagine the
Fun
team.
trip, though.
But the Eagles cannot play in that one, I believe, because none of the teams have a
sure
or something have an
I'm just
association
saying
with it.
straight up, that's crazy.
Well, people are going to say Mailata. So they're going to go Mailata. They're going to go,
right.
hey.
I don't even care what the team is. I think it's crazy. I would imagine they're playing Thursday the week before because that's a long trip.
Or it could be that Friday game.
Or it could be the start of the season.
The start of the season game where
What
you
are we
then
doing, the Tokyo
and then
Dome
you give
next?
them.
My God.
Oh,
yeah.
they've done that before, right?
There will be
in
one
the
game in
preseason.
Rio in Brazil, one game in Munich, 3 games in London, and then they have 1 game in Madrid. And there could be more.
It's crazy that London feels like a normal game now for the NFL.
Because we've been used to it.
Well,
yeah.
London is, you can fly from Philly to London like you can fly from Philly to L.A. I mean, it really isn't that big a deal.
Yeah, but when they first started doing the London games, I remember people losing their minds.
I know,
and now
yes.
it's just okay, we're going to Australia. London's just another, bat an eye at going to London.
Yeah, I just
If you want to fly to Sydney,
right?
it's a
What's it, 18 hours?
one-stop flight,
20 hours?
22 hours and 55 minutes.
Holy moly.
That's from Philadelphia.
wow.
I don't
Wow.
know. We don't know who's playing. Dallas could be playing. It's even
Good, send Dallas.
longer flight.
By the way, Dallas has been avoiding these games.
Yep.
Dallas doesn't travel as much for whatever reason.
Well, they're not Australia's team.
Their owner says, I don't want to do it.
Jerry wants a stadium filled.
I don't want to do it.
All right. We've obviously been talking about Paul George a lot today as well. What do we have on the text line? Are people still emotional or get emotional about the Sixers when this bad news drops?
Yeah, I mean, we still have some people checking in that are upset about the Paul George news. John checks in here, John from PA, and he checks in and says, this Paul George news does bother me because the team finally looked like they had some momentum built up. I guess I fell for it again, but the Sixers, once again, are in a disappointing position.
You didn't fall for it because falling for it would be somebody got hurt, and you went, oh, yeah, it's the same thing. This is a new one. Nobody was expecting this. Nobody expected a Saturday news drop to come out that Paul George is suspended 25 games.
But I'm going to tell you, too, even if somebody gets hurt, it's not falling for it when I've seen Joel Embiid do what he's done this year, taking the steps, doing the things that he's taken to be the player that he's become this year.
The fact that he's jumping alley-oop dunks.
Like, to me, I will not say that, I fell for it if he gets hurt. Because to me, Joel has kicked some serious ass to make himself be the player that he needs to be and that this organization wants him to be, and I applaud him for it. So I wouldn't be that way if he gets injured.
All right, what else we got on the text line?
We do have multiple people checking in on the contract situation, asking about the luxury tax, asking about can they get out of the contract. We're going to have Bobby Marks join us coming up at 8:35. He's better apt to give us the answers.
He's going to be really, really good. I love Bobby Marks. His mind when it comes to all this stuff is amazing, and he's been studying up on everything. But go ahead.
All right, so we have some people checking in on the conversation we were just having about why is it so hard for the Eagles to repeat? And Ken from Robbinsville thinks he has the answer. Says, I think it's pretty simple. Hurts isn't on the same planet as Mahomes and Brady, and I personally don't think it's up for debate. If you want to be a dynasty, the most important player in all of sports, the quarterback, has to be elite.
And that goes back to MBD on our YouTube chat.
Wow, how's this? So I'm just listening to this. So we're putting last year all on Hurts, these people? Are you, to me, that's on the list of things of last year. Hurts? Really? Because I'm putting head coach and offensive coordinator before I get to Hurts' name. And then I had a wide receiver who was quitting on plays, who wasn't giving his all, who started disrupting the team when they had just won their fourth game to be undefeated at 4-0.
Yep.
I mean, if Jalen Hurts, you're going to start throwing rocks at Jalen Hurts as number one is the reason, I'm going to tell you, you need to
look.
You need to reevaluate your pecking order of who you're blaming.
I don't know if it's necessarily blaming
He's
Jalen
not
Hurts.
blameless.
Right.
But if Hurts is first off your list there, I think somebody's out of their mind. That's crazy town.
All right, what else we got?
All right, we also have a check-in here on that conversation and the change that we've talked about. So Mike from Turnersville says if the Eagles don't make the playoffs in 2026, they're going to have a new head coach, and I would be extremely excited and pumped if that happens. I want a mature leader as the face of the franchise.
Right,
that's stupid.
Why is that stupid?
No,
I'd be extremely.
I'd be pumped if they had a bad season and a guy got fired.
Oh, no, I get it.
That's crazy.
Some people don't like.
No, I get it. I'm not the biggest Sirianni fan. He annoys me. I say it all the time. He annoys the hell out of me. His press conference and my studies and competitive advantage and core values. He annoys the hell out of me. But I'm not going to root for his demise because then all of a sudden we get a new coach. That means the season sucked. I don't want that.
I'm going to tell you right now. If for some reason, I don't believe it's happening, if for some reason Vic Fangio walked out the door and then you lost Vic Fangio and you lost and you fire an offensive coordinator, so then we have two new coordinators and everything, you might as well send Nick Sirianni out the door. I would have been better with that.
Well, unless he wins. He's won without Vic Fangio.
No. I would have said go out the door. Go with them. Go. When Kevin Patullo packs up, you go too. If Vic Fangio was saying he was leaving and was walking out the door, I would have said, hey, get a box. Get another box.
Then you might as well say it anyway. Vic Fangio's keeping Nick Sirianni here somehow?
No, I'm going to wait and see next year what happens because I believe the two guys being brought in on offense, and I said it before and I'll say it again, I believe it's coincidence. that one guy's being brought in and one guy who's already been an offense coordinator calls plays? You tell me there's a 2-2 start next year? You tell me there's a crappy first month of the season? And we already know Jeffrey Lurie contemplated firing Nick Sirianni?
Last year, or 2024.
You got a guy that's a young, up-and-coming guy with a fresh face, with fresh ideas, and you got a guy who can already be an offensive assistant who already can call plays? I don't have to connect the dots.
Let me just put this out here. For anyone who's on the anti-Nick Sirianni thing to the point where you're like, I'd be excited and pumped if he got fired.
No, I don't want that.
No, I know, but our texter said that.
Right.
How many current head coaches in the NFL have a Super Bowl ring? How many really are there?
Yeah, but you don't
Andy?
have to like Nick Sirianni because of that.
McVay?
You don't have to like Nick Sirianni because of that.
I'm not telling you to like the guy, but I'm telling you if there's, 3 or 4 guys that have Super Bowl rings and current head coaches out of 32 jobs.
Again, if there was a draft, you had Nick Sirianni, you had him right outside the top 5, and I told you, I think that's worthy
10.
of a drug test. Honestly, I think the Beasleys should come in and say, pee in a glass.
Where are these other guys' rings?
There is not. It's not about the other guys' rings.
The other guys have
are you?
Some of them do, yes.
Who?
Kyle Shanahan, Dan Campbell. Where are their rings? Sean McDermott has
Kyle Shanahan just beat Nick Sirianni.
Oh, don't give me that. He lost by almost 40 the next week.
He just
the
beat.
Eagles fell apart.
Excuse me. He just beat Nick Sirianni. Came in and whooped him in his backyard.
I'm just saying, Kyle Shanahan.
Are you kidding me?
He would get picked over Nick Sirianni 1,000 times out of 1,000.
I know that, but Sirianni, there's a handful of guys that have a ring.
It doesn't. You're doing the ring thing. There isn't an NFL owner or otherwise that would hire Nick Sirianni over Kyle Shanahan.
Well, guess what? I think a lot of owners are stupid.
Robert Horry, better player than Allen Iverson.
Yeah, because he's got rings.
Got rings, brother.
Oh, wait a minute. Nick Foles better than Dan Marino. He's got rings.
That's right, yeah.
It's the dumbest argument
Marino
ever.
Sucks.
Rings.
All right, coming up next, Bobby Marks. What does the Paul George suspension mean for the Sixers?
Not middays with Marks.
Not middays with Marks. Bobby Marks from ESPN. Did this actually help them?
What?
Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Going to tell you that Dan White and Associates, they help people. They've been helping people for almost 4 decades. How do you stay in business that long? When you're specializing in retirement and financial planning, well, you better be getting things right. You better be answering the questions right for people. You better be leading them down the right paths, and that's what Dan White and Associates does. They help you create income in retirement that will help you support the lifestyle that you want to live. They're going to help you find some certainty in your financial future. Now, look, finances in retirement, it can be an overwhelming topic. And the experts at Dan White and Associates, they're going to help you make sense of all of your unique challenges. And they host educational seminars throughout Pennsylvania, Delaware, and Maryland. And they've got offices for you where you can visit them in Glen Mills, PA, and Middletown and Lewis, Delaware. And they offer you a complimentary no-risk consultation. You can go to one of their seminars. They're great, and they have a great meal for you, too. But you could just set up your own complimentary no-risk consultation, too. Money conversations are hard. Conversations with Dan White and Associates will bring you a sense of relief. Visit danwhiteandassociates.com. Check them out. Make that appointment and tell them John Kincade sent you in.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Groundhog Day for the Sixers. I'm Connor Thomas, and the NBA announced on Saturday that Sixers Paul George would be suspended 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. It's just another one of these setbacks for the Sixers as they seem to be gaining momentum. Head coach Nick Nurse reacted to the move the news, over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, disappointed for sure. But those guys that have been playing, we got to figure out who's going to replace some of the things he does and the positionally and defensively and shots and all that kind of stuff.
Despite the news, the Sixers were able to find a win over the Pelicans on Saturday. They're back on the floor tonight in L.A. against the Clippers as they start a West Coast swing. 10 p.m. tip-off. You can hear the game live here on the Fanatic. Flyers have the night off tonight. They fell to the Kings in overtime on Saturday. They have 2 more games before they hit the Olympic break. As for the Eagles, we're learning more about the 2 new offensive coaches they added. OC Sean Mannion, pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard. We'll keep you updated as the offseason continues on that. And Vic Fangio, some news over the weekend reports that he's considered retirement, expected to return, but nothing's guaranteed yet. A developing situation we'll keep you updated on. Bobby Marks of ESPN joins us coming up next to talk about the Paul George contract situation and the news of his suspension. This update's brought to you by NJM Insurance. No jingles or mascots, just great insurance. Insurance underwritten by NJM Insurance Company and its subsidiaries. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Chat.
It is 8:31 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. We will be joined momentarily by Bobby Marks, former GM executive in the NBA.
Barbie Marks.
He is now like the lead NBA executive guy at ESPN.
He explains things really, really well as far as just putting them in terms that everybody can understand.
Well, it's amazing. Johnny, on Friday, I liked a tweet of his to save for the show for this week. It was basically what he does around this time every single year. He breaks down, I have it right here in front of me.
Okay.
Every team's draft assets, what their finances are currently, stats to watch, their upcoming free agents, and then like a little did you know blurb.
He's got to have a team that's helping him with this. That's a lot of data.
This was all.
That's amazing.
I liked it on Friday to save for this week. Like, all right, let's talk about the trade deadline. Do they have to trade Kelly Oubre? Do they have to trade Andre Drummond? And then the Paul George news breaks on Saturday, and it sucks. You're at the surface, it sucks because this guy who's been a nice piece with the Sixers. I'm not telling you that his contract's been worth it at all. He's been a nice piece with this Sixers team. They started to gel, finally, the big three of Maxey, Embiid, and George. And you're going, all right, man, maybe they can climb up to a 5 seed, a 4 seed. That way we don't have to worry about the play-in tournament, all that kind of stuff. And then the news comes out, and he's not going to be part of the team for 25 games. But then people start hearing about the cap stuff.
Correct.
And how it actually kind of benefits the Sixers.
Which seems crazy to me.
Right,
Like
because in baseball, you get suspended. You're not eligible for the playoffs. The Sixers actually get cap relief, and they get them for the playoffs.
Could this be what Charles Barkley was saying, one of the things where he goes, something smells fishy?
Could be, but, like, who did it?
But he lost out on $11 million.
Yeah, I don't know
about that.
And I don't think the Sixers are also going to cut him an $11 million check to help him out.
Then they'd lose draft picks and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, that's what the Clippers did with the fake tree.
Yeah,
whatever they did with
sounds like the pool
Kawhi
company
Leonard.
you worked for. Very similar.
What was wrong with my pool company? Oh wait,
sure you went to work.
I did go to.
Did you?
I have no idea what you're trying to say about the pool.
I don't know. Maybe you had a fake job too. Maybe they were like, somebody said you have a fake job. I don't know.
No.
If they could have done that.
I worked hard at that pool store, man. I had to lug 50 pounds of sand both ways. All right, you can continue to climb in at 610-632-0975 as we are talking about the Paul George suspension. Do you get any more emotional reaction at this point when bad news comes down for the Sixers? Because it's just something that we've been dealing with for pretty much the last decade now. And then obviously all kinds of Eagles stuff that we've been discussing as well. You can climb in at 610-632-0975. But joining us now does a tremendous job at ESPN. He breaks it all down for the executive standpoints and GMs and trades and the assets and what they can do. Of course, a former GM in the NBA himself, Bobby Marks, joins us here on Kincade and Salciunas. Bobby, good morning. Thanks for coming on today. We appreciate it.
Hey, good morning, guys. How we doing?
We're doing great. So
till Saturday.
Well, till Saturday, yeah. Paul George gets suspended, and the immediate reaction is, here we go again. It's another Sixers debacle. It's another storyline that's going to make us upset. And then more information comes out that the Sixers, from a cap standpoint, benefit from this. Can you please explain to our audience everything that goes into this suspension? Obviously, the negative is you miss them for 25 games, but there are positive spins to this?
Yeah, I'm sure ownership was like, wait a minute, we can get under the luxury tax now? Yeah, I mean, before, and you heard Joel's, after I think it was the Thursday game when he said, hopefully we don't go out and make a trade to, basically deduct the tax. That's something we've been doing and everything. And they were about 7.1 over the luxury tax. Distribution for teams under is right around $14 million. So it kind of set the stage for that. So, yeah, there's a rule where if it's a league-issued suspension, not team-issued suspension, that the Sixers or any team would get a credit about 50%. It's 50% of the amount the player is suspended. So in the case of Paul George, he's being suspended right close to $12 million, $11.7 million. So they'll get a credit of $5.8 million that can be applied towards salary for luxury tax purposes only. It doesn't apply to the apron or anything else. But yeah, so now you go from 7.1 to now you're right around $1.3 million over the tax. So sure, if you want to go out and try to move Eric Gordon, which I'm sure you could probably do, and get under, there's a pathway now to do it. Before that, I think it was probably more unrealistic because you would have had to trade, Kelly or Quentin, guys that certainly are helping you. Even, in the case of Drummond, wouldn't have gotten you under there. But yeah, although they lose Paul for 25 games, which is certainly important, and where they are in the East, there is some financial ramifications to the roster for that.
When you look at what the Sixers have cooking right now, and obviously it's a little bit tenuous because of the injury situation, not only with Paul George when he comes back, from the suspension, but what they've had with Joel Embiid. How intrigued are you about them being a true player in the East?
I put the kiss of death on them. I was out here. I'm out in L.A. right now. I think they're in L.A. tonight.
They are.
Clips. I think I'm going to see them tonight. And I was out here 3 weeks ago, and it was before they played Cleveland, and I basically stood on the mountain shouting how good this Sixers team can be, and then they go out and get smoked by the Cavaliers. So I am intrigued by them because of certainly where Joel is right now. He is MVP level when he plays, and there's been a really good string of games lately, health wise. Knock on wood, he looks really good, and certainly when you have where Tyrese is, and then you had the rookie and VJ, and you've got some nice play by your role players here, your rotational players here. I think where the Eastern Conference is, I don't think there's one dominant, although Detroit is very good, I don't think there's one dominant team. This is not the West here. And I said, if you can get to the finish line in mid-April in one piece, there's no reason why you can't pick this team to get out of the Eastern Conference.
Bobby, I'm curious because we have you on here. You worked in front offices in the NBA. The Joel Embiid saga, I'll just say, the last 10 years here in Philadelphia, a lot of meat left on the bone, we think, when it comes to playoff success. There have been people over the last couple of years that have just been done with him, ready to move on, not necessarily because they don't like the person. It's just, man, I'm tired of having to deal with, will he be healthy, will he not be healthy? Can you speak about this from a front office point of view, the lack of willingness to move on from a guy that has so much talent, but also understanding, man, I've been walking on eggshells with this guy for a long time?
Well, yeah, listen, it's it's a little bit easier now to talk about how great he is, but I remember a year ago, you guys went through it a year ago, and you've gone through it before, and certainly there's been injuries in the playoffs here where I think it's easy for fans to say, let's just move on, but I think what we've seen lately, the dominance of him, it's like, okay, let's hold on here. I think the biggest thing that's probably, that you could debate and you could probably, win the debate on is probably, was there a need to extend him when they did and at that big money, and then all of a sudden he gets, he's injured and doesn't play a lot. But yeah, there's part of you that says you should move on because you have a player that's injured. Now the amount of money he's making, it's extremely difficult. But then there's the other part of you where you watch these games and he is, vintage Embiid from 2 or 3 years ago. So it's a hard thing to go through. But as I said, if he can just stay healthy and he can string along games and he looks fantastic, then it's worth going through this process.
Would you, if you were Daryl Morey and anybody called to kick tires, would you consider moving Joel Embiid?
Well, I would. And I think you're saying probably why. I think
no, I'm not. I would. I'd consider it after everything they've been
I think
through.
you have to. Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, and what I've learned, certainly working in the Nets front office for a long time, is I do think you have to kind of take blinders off to kind of not just look at things in the short term, but look in the big term here, long term picture here. If this is the biggest, the value standpoint as far as in his career or where it's going to be, and if it's an injury basically takes you down to the bottom again, then I would. Yeah, I would listen. I would look at, if anyone called on Paul or Embiid and stuff, I think you have to. I don't think you can't have, the success cloud you. I think there's only really one person on this roster that's basically untouchable, which would be Maxey, and I think VJ's probably a close second there just based on what he's been able to do in his upside.
All right, so you mentioned VJ. I got two more for you, Bobby. We appreciate the time this morning.
Sure.
Let's start with Giannis, because that's obviously going to be a talking point from now until Thursday, has been for a while now. Do the Sixers have any realistic possibility where they could make a trade for Giannis Antetokounmpo and the Milwaukee Bucks agree to said trade?
It's funny you say we have actually an article on ESPN today where a couple of our writers do some fictional trades, and one of them is a Sixers trade, and that's actually the one I probably like the most. It's really kind of in the perspective of the Bucks, not really what in Phillies front office as far as what they would do. And yeah, I mean, I think if you wanted to go out and get Giannis, and there's risk there. I know how great he is and where he is right now, but he's 31 and he's gone through a couple calf injuries, and you're going to have to pay him $70 million per year for the next 3 or 4 years, which is you guys who've just gone through it, which is a big ask. But I do think if you want to dip your toe in the Giannis sweepstakes, it will cost you your rookie. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, that's what it will cost you. Now, the other part is, like, what else on that roster? Would Milwaukee take Paul George back in the $10 million he's owed in the next two years? Part of you says, yeah, maybe, because he's suspended right now, which players can be traded if you're on the suspended list, and we won't see him until sometime in late March, and we're trying to get a lottery pick and everything like that. So that's I know they've shifted a lot towards, being younger and everything, but if you did want to kind of, as I said, try to, debate it and throw it around in the room, that's probably what it would cost you, and along with probably some draft picks.
All right, and lastly,
I'm intrigued. I'm very
intriguing. Lastly, so maybe more of the realistic trades. How creative can Daryl Morey get? You mentioned, obviously, you can move on from Eric Gordon, get under that luxury tax. For the longest time, we've been talking about just trading away Kelly Oubre or Andre Drummond to get under said tax. Now with the Paul George suspension, does that free up Daryl Morey's opportunities to make some moves for some role players to fit this team for the playoff run?
Yeah, I mean, you're I won't go through a whole lesson on the apron and everything, but you're still kind of right against the apron. So basically, even though you're not hard capped, you're in a position where you're not going to be allowed to take back more salary. So if you're hypothetically trading Quentin Grimes at 8 and change and taking back a $10 or $11 million player, you're not allowed to do that. So you do have to be careful where you are. You do have an open roster spot. I think you would probably like to convert your two-way Barlow eventually here. The one thing you'll be able to do is you can add a player when Kelly serves 5 games on the suspension list here. But yeah, I do think there's an opportunity. Yeah, listen, Daryl, as you guys know, he's made a trade every deadline since he's taken over in 2020. So I don't think they're going to stand pat here as far as where they are, but I don't think they have to be as aggressive as they once could, before the Paul suspension. But then it's a matter of, okay, who's the odd man out on our roster? Is it Drummond, who's on an expiring? Can we add another piece there? We have some picks. We've got some first and seconds here. But it's kind of a slow market right now. We've only seen drips and drabs of trades that have come through. Kind of will heat up this week here. But I do think you have enough to go out and do something if you wanted to, but more kind of against the margins.
Bobby, we appreciate
Thanks,
the time,
Bob.
especially this busy season for you. We know it. So good luck the rest of this week leading up to the trade deadline and all the reaction. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There he is, Bobby Marks.
That was really well done.
And
that was very easy to understand. Very easy to understand what he was saying.
He knows what he's talking about. He was an executive in the NBA.
He made me smile. There's more flexibility than I thought there was.
Well, with all due respect to the inside the NBA team, there was a lot of Paul George can't be traded. Bobby Marks telling us.
No, you can.
You can.
No, it absolutely can.
Let's react to that next, shall we? It's Kincade and Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic.
The six.
Trust this Washington College guy to produce. Charity comes in many forms. Kincade Salciunas is back from the break. I wonder what they're going to get into.
It is 8:49 here on Kincade Salciunas, 97.5 The Fanatic. Thank you again to Bobby Marks, who just joined us to really unpack everything. So, obviously, Paul George missing 25 games is a negative impact from the team's standpoint, right? The Sixers are the 6th seed right now. We keep on talking about how they're not that far back of the 4 seed, right? They're just in a game and a half back of both the Raptors and Cavs. Raptors currently the 4 seed, Cavs the 5 seed. But if we have that conversation, you also have to look at what's behind them. The Sixers are only a game and a half up of the Miami Heat and only 2 games up of the Orlando Magic. The Heat 7 seed, Magic 8 seed, those 2 teams are playing teams right now if the season were to end today. So from a team standpoint, it is a net negative that Paul George will be missing time despite them beating the Pelicans on Saturday and Embiid looking vintage scoring 40. But from a cap standpoint, Joel Embiid calling out ownership last week. The Sixers don't have to trade away a Kelly Oubre just to get under the tax. Not that they ever have to. Let's make that clear. Ownership group does not have to get under the tax. It's just their own pockets that they're thinking about in this situation. But now they can only just move Eric Gordon and they're under the tax. So that helps the Sixers keep some of their role players around for this team in the absence of Paul George. So that's why people are looking at this as a actual good thing for the Sixers.
Yeah, now, to be fair, this is not the same thing as the luxury tax in Major League Baseball, where the teams that win go over it and the teams that don't win are under it. A lot of teams in the NBA try and get below the second apron.
Right.
So it's not like they're just being cheap, but they could go over it if they wanted to.
Yes, they could. They absolutely could go over it if they wanted.
Remember, it's not a hard cap. It's not something where they have to go, you can't do it.
Right.
It's a choice.
They can do it.
It's like John Middleton. They can choose to spend whatever they want.
Right.
People are like, well, the Phillies can't beat the Dodgers. No, they can.
Right. Now, it's a little bit different.
Phillies can't beat the Mets. No, they can.
What's different in basketball is you can't have more than 3 max contract players.
Absolutely.
And all that kind of stuff.
No question.
So the Sixers now actually catch a bit of a break from a cap standpoint, but they also we brought up Giannis because we had to, right? Not that I think it's realistic.
No, but it's still this week. You have to bring that up.
It's February 5th is the trade deadline, 3 o'clock. So I found the ESPN article that Bobby Marks referred to while he was on with us. So people that write for ESPN, they had 6 different people come up with trades.
Okay.
For Giannis. And Bobby Marks ranked which one was the best trade for both parties. So it's not just like to benefit one side or the other.
Right.
It's to benefit both parties. And the trade that he thought made the most sense was the Sixers trade.
What?
So
what are the Sixers giving up that it makes the most sense?
The Sixers would be giving up 2 first-round draft picks.
Which I don't want them to do.
The 2028 Clippers pick, which could be gold.
So the Sixers would have no picks until first-round picks till when? Because the Sixers have traded away first-round picks. So I don't want that to happen. Go on.
2030 first-round pick because you can't trade back-to-back years. And then it would be Paul George, which I don't think many people, especially this morning after this weekend, would have a problem with it, and VJ. And so if you make this move, you immediately get older. And it's not just older this season. It's, to your point, not having the 2028 or 2030 draft picks.
No.
You're getting older for years to come.
And that Clippers
and you're
pick,
putting all of your bread in the basket of Embiid, Maxey, and Giannis, which, look, that's a very good 3.
To win a world championship this year?
Well, and years to come. Because you hope Embiid continues. You hope Maxey continues to grow.
Look, I believe Maxey
you would have Giannis for at least another year, and I would imagine they would make the trade with the understanding that he would sign an extension.
Yeah, but you're hoping that you can get the health. The health of Embiid is the major hurdle that you're hoping and wishing for. The health of Giannis is probably 60% as much.
Yeah, it's been a big one.
No. I'm done with this.
This is what Bobby Marks said about the trade. Do the Bucks value the upside of Edgecombe enough to take back all the money still owed to George? If they do, Edgecombe and 2 unprotected first-round picks is a strong return for Antetokounmpo, With George on the suspended list, Milwaukee could get financial and roster relief, allowing it to sign a player. For the 76ers, a trio of Maxey, Antetokounmpo, and Embiid puts Philadelphia in championship contention now.
No.
But at the cost of its future.
No, we've just lived through this. No.
Look, I agree with you.
No quick
I can't
fixes.
believe I'm saying it, but I agree with you.
No quick fixes. No Ozempic. Instead, go on a diet and exercise. No shortcuts.
Now,
do
to me,
do things the right way, Sixers.
Now, to me, this is the best trade for the Bucks. With Golden State, Jimmy Butler, forget him. I mean, he's hurt, and it's more cap stuff. Kuminga, the guard, Podzimski,
Pudgeminski,
whatever his name
is.
And then first-round picks in 26, 28, 30, 31, pick swap, and 32.
Okay, that's a better deal.
But it makes no sense for Golden State. What do you really
No.
do?
Because they got to rebuild.
They
can't,
got to rebuild, too.
You're literally rolling the dice for 1 year with that trade.
Miami, I want to hear what they did for Miami because Miami would, they want him. He wants Miami. He's made known Miami.
There is a Miami. I'll give you that.
Yeah,
I'll give that to you on the other side. All right, coming up next. If you aren't big fans of Paul George, the Sixer, I understand. His absence can obviously make a major impact. Also, the Grizzard. We'll learn more about him, the new Eagles passing game coordinator, not named Kevin Patullo. That comes your way next here on The Fanatic.
If something feels off, don't brush it aside. The doctors told you maybe there has been a cancer diagnosis in your family. Maybe it's for you. Maybe it's for a friend. Maybe it's for your parents. The consultants in medical oncology and hematology are waiting to help you. I have referred so many people, whether it's through the radio or through my personal life, to Dr. John Sprandio and his team, that it makes it easy for you to get answers fast. CMOH is going to give you quick consultations, great communication, and an individualized plan. They gave me a protocol that another major healthcare system in Philadelphia told me, no, I don't really think that that's going to work for you. It worked for me. I'm here to do my show today, and I thrived. That's with free, convenient locations. Their mainline cancer center in Newtown Square is just amazing. That's where I go to. All of them have free parking, easy access, no elevators or garages to deal with. They work with hospitals because they're independent, so they can work with all different healthcare systems and hospitals around the region. The consultants in medical oncology and hematology. A cancer diagnosis is going to rock your world. CMOH is going to make sure that you have someone to hold your hand and help lead you through the process. Visit CMOH.org and take that first step towards peace of mind. And reach out to me if you need me.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Sixers dealing with a suspension. I'm Connor Thomas, and the NBA announced on Saturday that the Sixers' Paul George would be suspended 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. A big blow for the team just starting to get their legs underneath them. Head coach Nick Nurse reacted to the news and talked about guys needing to step up.
I think there's a number of guys there to do it, and that's where we are. And we've been in this kind of next man up mentality for quite a while, and we're going to have to dig in and do it again.
Yeah, today being Groundhog Day feels apt for what the Sixers went through over the weekend, but they were able to find a win over the Pelicans on Saturday. They're back on the floor tonight in L.A. against the Clippers, 10 p.m. tip-off here on the Fanatic. You can hear that. Flyers fell to the Kings in overtime on Saturday. They got 2 more games before they hit the Olympic break. They're off tonight. The Eagles, well, we're still learning more about the 2 new offensive coaches they added, offensive coordinator Sean Mannion and pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard. Greg Allman of Fox is going to join us coming up next to talk a little bit more about Grizzard's background. We'll keep you updated on that, and we'll also keep you updated on the Vic Fangio situation as reports surfaced over the weekend that he's been considering retirement, expected to return, but that's still somewhat up in the air. That would be a big loss for the Birds. This update is brought to you by Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. This Saturday, it's Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship at Xfinity Mobile Arena with Knucklemania 6 featuring a heavyweight title fight plus Conor McGregor and many more. Tickets at BKFC.com. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best Birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
Vic Fangio strongly considered retiring. Now, there was an article from Jimmy Kempski that made it clear that Eagles brass has basically the understanding that he will be back this upcoming season, but it's still up in the air. Every national reporter that's out there goes, well, yeah, we think that's the case, but we're not 100% certain that he will be returning as the defensive coordinator of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Can I say something sort of scorching hot, though, and it's not a hot take, it's just what I really believe?
Go for it.
I would have said, Vic, I greatly appreciate it. They reportedly had to talk him into coming back last year. And if I heard that again, I'd say, Vic, we love you, man, and we appreciate everything you've done. Thanks for your time.
You would have let him go.
Christian Parker, you're the defensive coordinator.
I can't disagree with you more. Do you still get an emotional reaction at this point when news breaks about a Sixer that's either suspended or gets hurt or can't play or there's some nonsense or there's some drama surrounding this freaking basketball team that has been surrounding them for a freaking decade at this point? Do you still get emotional reactions to it?
Paul George, he accepts full responsibility for his actions. Who the hell would be accepting responsibility for his actions? Who?
Oh, I think that's just saying.
Did Paul, it's a useless saying. Did Paul George, did somebody take him to a hotel and slip him a banned substance? No. What the hell is he talking about?
Now back to the show.
Oh, it's just another day in Philadelphia. Another day. And another day in Sixers land where something pops up where you're like, what the hell?
What I told you, the gentleman who stopped me on the concourse. It's like, what on Saturday at the Flyers game? So what do you think about Paul George? I honestly thought, hey, yeah, we're just bragging on him. Are you kidding me?
Nope.
Are you kidding me?
News breaks, suspended 25 games.
It's absolutely crazy.
And as we talked about a lot, by the way, coming up in a few minutes, Greg Allman, we've mentioned him before. He covers the NFL for Fox, but he also is a longtime Bucks reporter. He can talk more about Grizzard the Lizard, the new pass game coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, Josh Grizzard, who takes one of Kevin Patullo's old jobs. So what does Kevin Patullo still have? Can't be the OC. Can't be the pass game coordinator. What does Kevin Patullo do? That's what I really want to know.
No, he's got to be gone.
But anyways.
They got to find a way for him to be gone.
We've talked about Paul George a lot today.
He's from Lizard Lick, by the way.
I know. I heard Johnny Marks talking about it.
The other day they were talking about it, and it was Sean Brace was like, I lived in North Carolina. I know where Lizard Lick is. Lizard Lick's famous, and there's some great golf.
Grizzard the Lizard, man.
Great golf there and some great watering holes.
Paul George, the suspension, 25 games for substance abuse. He says it's for his mental health.
So what is it?
I will take him at his word. However, Paul, you play in the league that is the most lenient league when it comes to all kinds of things, including pot. And I'm not saying marijuana is like the end-all be-all, but what I'm saying is this league, you know it, John, the amount of pages of you can take this that are in their probably preseason guidelines. And, oh, by the way, Paul George is not a first-year, second-year, third-year player in the NBA. He is a vet. He's been in the league for a long time. How do you screw this one up?
Paul, what is it? Paul, what'd you take? Just say what you took. Say what you took.
He might.
He should have.
After 25 games.
No, what'd you take, Paul? There's nothing stopping you from saying it. What'd you take? Why the misdirection game? Why what? There's no reason. And I thank the NBA players who have said, why hasn't he said what he's taking? Because they say something suspicious about it. Just say it. No need to hide out. Just say it. If it's for your mental health, what could you possibly be taking for your mental health that you can't say what you took? So stop. Stop this stuff. Stop the misdirection. Stop the hiding out. Just take responsibility because your actions hurt the team. Your actions potentially could cost people jobs. Your actions, your selfish actions, your reckless actions could potentially cost other people their jobs who don't make $35 million a year, who can't worry about just sitting back and I didn't make $11 million. I'm all right.
Kevin Love was at the forefront of mental health publicly in the NBA, and again, the league, credit to Adam Silver, backed him up and made it very, very, very helpful for people that suffer in the NBA. They also have a laundry list of things that are allowed to be taken, and somehow Paul George missed that.
And Kevin Love was a vocal advocate for the mental health issues and public about it all.
Yeah.
He didn't hide out behind press releases, and when saying things, he said what everything was about. It's easy to just say, "What'd you take, Paul?
Well,
what's it about, Paul?"
Maybe we'll find that out after his 25-game suspension.
No, he doesn't have to
Johnny.
wait till then. He can
Only
tell us
24
now.
games to go.
There we go. Isn't that great?
Because they played on Saturday.
That's great.
All right, we are now joined by a man that we reference often on this show, reading his work on Fox, foxsports.com. Also covered the Buccaneers for a long time. We have Greg Allman on the show with us to talk more about the Eagles' pass game coordinator, Josh Grizzard. Greg, good morning. How are we today?
Doing well, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for coming on
buddy.
today. Grizzard, 35-year-old. The Eagles all of a sudden going with a very young offensive room with Sean Mannion being hired at the age of 33, Grizzard at the age of 35. Can you talk more about his impact that he made in Tampa Bay, especially with Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, sure. First of all, it's Grizzard. Just so you know, lots of people get it wrong. People call him Grizz, but Grizzard, you'll hear like national games still get it wrong, so don't worry. But yeah, Grizz came in 2 years ago under Liam Cohen, had been down in Miami under Mike McDaniel, a couple other coaches. Was in that same role in 24 as pass game coordinator. Was a big part of their third down offense here. Bucs had number one third down offense in the league in 24. Baker Mayfield just really sharp. And then, obviously, Liam Cohen goes to the Jaguars. His head coach, Josh, gets elevated, kind of for continuity, if you will, to OC this past year. So first-time play caller, ups and downs, kind of got dealt a raw hand in that offensive line was just decimated by injuries. Both guards, season-ending injury. Both tackles missed, I think, 4 or 5 games. Receivers, as you guys know, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, both dealt with a lot of injuries. So I never really felt like he had a full plate. Never really was ordering from a full menu, if you will. Kind of was the scapegoat down here, took the fall. I mean, they lost 7 of 8 down the stretch, and the offense wasn't great at that time. Baker was probably pretty limited physically as well. But no, promising young coach, Yale grad from Lizard Lick, North Carolina. If you get a chance to look that up, that's fun. Yeah, just one of those where, felt like, probably got promoted a little earlier than he should have. Followed a really good play caller in Liam Cohen here in Tampa. It's like if you look at their 23 numbers here in Tampa, when they had Dave Canales as offensive coordinator, Josh's offense was better than Dave Canales, and Dave Canales got promoted to head coach and made the playoffs. So sometimes I think it's just the circumstances, and he had the luck to follow somebody who had a top 5 offense, and that drop-off, contributed to the troubles they had here in Tampa. But excited for him in Philadelphia there. A couple of really good offensive minds he'll be working with, but still a bright future for him.
Tell us about the passing game concepts that he liked to employ there. And, he's got – right now he's got A.J. Brown. He's got Devontae Smith. He's got, the options here. What do you think it'll look like?
Yeah, a lot of pre-snap motion, kind of has that McDaniel influence there. So a lot of pre-snap motion. Definitely takes more shots downfield than Cohen did. I mean, Cohen had an amazing offense here, but really didn't go downfield that much. And honestly, Grizzard wasn't afraid to do that. Utilized a lot of kind of intermediate game pretty well. Not as much a screener as I thought he would be. And had really a mixed bag. It seemed like every week, their first 4 weeks of the season, they played the Eagles well and lost. They won at the Texans, a couple last-minute wins where they engineered some really wild finishes there. Emeka Egbuka was kind of their first-round pick. I think it's 6 touchdowns in the first 5 games, something like that. So not afraid to utilize depth at receiver. I mean, you think about the Eagles and how little they've gotten beyond the big 2 there. I do think he'll be somebody that can help cultivate in depth using 4th and 5th receivers and getting them more involved. But no, it's one of those where he'll come in and obviously, he's got other people above him, and I'm sure he'll work well with Mannion and ultimately with Nick in terms of putting together an improved offense.
So, Greg, do you think he's destined to get another opportunity as an OC in the NFL? Because we know how it's gone in Philadelphia. You have success as the OC, you leave, and you're a head coach somewhere else. If you stink, you get fired. So at this point, Sean Mannion's been talked about as one of the next big head coaching candidates in the NFL. So if he were to get a head coaching candidate, do you believe Grizzard is destined to go right from passing game coordinator to potentially the OC of the Eagles down the road or another team?
Oh, absolutely. I think that's the natural path. I mean, I think you look at the Bucs and the Eagles, identical 5 coordinators in 5 years, 2 of them promoted to head coach, 2 of them fired. Honestly, the Bucs assistants that came up in Cohen and Canales both made the playoffs, as opposed to Kellen Moore not making it. And I think that's the logical progression. If you're 35 and coveted as an offensive coach, this is a nice time to be that age and that demographic in the NFL. So I think whether he needs to wait for Mannion to jump up or whether he goes somewhere else, I think if he hadn't gotten the pass game with the Eagles, I think he easily could have been McDaniel's pass game coordinator with the Chargers because they go back. I think he's got some good connections. And if it would surprise me if 2 years from now he's not again an OC, whether it's in Philly or somewhere else.
The communication aspect was one that was a bit of a problem here as far as it seemed like players were not really getting a good handle on what was expected of them, communication of the concepts, things like that, players not really understanding what the plan was. Talk about him as a communicator. Talk about him as a guy to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, I found that to be a strength of his. It's one of those where first-year coordinator, first-year play caller, under a defensive head coach, there's a lot of autonomy that comes with that. So you can communicate a vision to an entire staff like that. I mean, he'll be more involved in collaborating now. But I think in terms of letting players know, we had him every week for 15, 20 minutes on the podium. He does a really good job. He's just very relatable, can speak to things in easy terms. He's a Yale grad, but he's also from, small town North Carolina, so you kind of can get along with everybody. You can see where he's had a bunch of different coaches that rubbed off on him. Was down in Miami and I think survived like 3 different head coaches with the Dolphins and kind of kept getting retained and kept getting kind of just stuck around and then really flourished under McDaniel. So no, I think communication should be a good part of what he does there. I don't know that he has a relationship with Mannion or a relationship with Sirianni, so he'll be getting to know them. But here in Tampa, he jumped in right away and was, very quickly embraced.
Greg, while we have you, because obviously you've been covering the Bucs for quite some time now, but you cover the NFL as a whole for Fox. Curious what you made of the Eagles' season as a whole this year. Obviously, all the confusion about the offense and what was going wrong, and then their quick exit in the playoffs against the 49ers.
Yeah, just uneven. I mean, I'm from Philadelphia originally, so I certainly follow the Eagles more than most teams. I remember, I think, like wild card weekend, we had to do Super Bowl picks. And the NFC, I think because the Rams and the Seahawks were kind of negating each other, I kind of saw a world where if Philly got together on offense, they could make a run to the Super Bowl. I think I had them losing to the Texans, which was another amazing pick. But I like them. I think in terms of taking advantage of the personnel you have, they're a little bit like the Bucs in that they had some injuries on the offensive line that I think really set them back. Obviously, Saquon wasn't the same guy he was in 24. But no, it's you think about when you saw them at full capacity, when you saw them healthy, they looked like the team capable of repeating. I just don't think you saw that often, and the inconsistency is probably what's more troubling. I think the Bucs had them in week 4 here in Tampa and lost a close game to them, and it was like, well, you're losing to the defending champs. And then as the year went on, they took losses that where you're like, wow, okay, maybe that Eagles loss is worse than it should have been. So no, I think it's one of those where the expectations were, you're never higher on a team than as a defending champ. So the criticism is going to be there. But I think a couple little tweaks here and there, fill in some holes, figure out. I don't think I'm doing free agents right now and ranking free agents. There's not a ton of Eagles free agents. They're going to break the bank somewhere. So I don't think they're going to have a ton of losses. It's just a matter of getting healthy and kind of getting everybody on the same page. I really would like to see a third receiver step up. Mm-hmm. That seemed kind of glaring to me, in that when anytime you saw either Brown or Smith neutralizing the game, there just wasn't necessarily someone to step up and grab that. So that would be something I'd point to for like an area where if they put a second-round pick into a receiver or something like that, it wouldn't stun me.
Most important question, where in the Philadelphia area are you from, Greg?
I'm from, grew up in Brookhaven and Swarthmore. My parents are both from Reading. Yeah.
You're a Delco.
Know the area well, grew up.
What high school?
That's right. I didn't stay long enough for high school. I would have gone to, I guess, Grace Park, I think is where I would have gone. Ridley Township, that area there.
Oh.
So I left when I was a kid, and my parents were both from Philadelphia, where I came home to see family all the time. I ended up going to high school in North Carolina, not far from where Grizzard went to
Not
school.
Lizard Lick, though, which I was telling. Our midday guys were talking about it the other day. I lived in Atlanta for a long time. I'm like, Lizard Lick, there's some good golf there, and there's plenty of good eating and drinking. So, I mean, right there in Wake County is a good place.
To Lizard Lick.
Yeah.
Yeah. At one point, I pitched a trip to North Carolina where I was going to hit Lizard Lick and ride on the Josh Grizzard route, and then go to UNC and ride on Belichick, and then catch a Panthers game, and just do this tour of North Carolina. And never got ridden. So there was a moment there where I thought Josh might actually get the OC job with the Eagles, and I joked like, "Oh, okay, I'll make that Lizard Lick trip finally." But fun guy. You guys will like him. Easy to get along with.
Thank you so much.
Thanks,
buddy.
Greg. We appreciate the time.
All right, take care.
There's Greg Allman. How about that?
That's
Philadelphia's
great.
own Greg Allman. How about that?
Delco's own. That's great.
Love that. All right, so on our YouTube chat, I saw somebody bring up the Clippers draft pick, saying that the Clippers have been playing good basketball as of late. You have to understand, it's the 2028 NBA draft.
So it's the 2028 draft,
So
which
that
is
means
the good
after the 27-28 season.
Whereas you're going to have guys off of this roster. Their roster looks totally different next year and the next year.
This is the Los Angeles Clippers roster for the 27-28 season, right?
Okay.
So after that season concludes, that's the draft pick that the Sixers would get. Their roster
Well,
right
for the
now,
year before, because that would be the year that they played.
27-28, and then you get the draft, whatever.
So 27-28.
Yeah. Zubats,
Uh-huh.
Vanek, Conan, Niederhauser.
I thought Conan retired.
He's 22 years old.
Okay.
Cameron Christie and Kobe Sanders is a restricted free agent. He's a two-way player.
That's it?
The reason why it's valuable, Kawhi, free agent.
Well, Kawhi's he's not going to be two. He's going to be, how old's Kawhi?
He's
gonna be by
34
then?
now. He'd be 37.
Correct.
James Harden, free agent. He's 36, by the way.
Man.
John Collins, free agent the previous season. Bogdanovich, free agent. Derek Jones, Brooke Lopez, all older players,
God,
by the
they're
way.
old.
Nicholas Batum, 37 years old, free agent. Chris Dunn, Bradley Beal.
They could be a top 3 or 4 pick in that, and a lottery pick
Well,
that's
lottery,
really
right,
great.
yeah.
And
So-
it's not lottery protected.
No.
That's our pick.
It's wherever they land.
You cannot touch that
It's
pick.
why it's so valuable. So forget what the Clippers are doing right now. It's what the Clippers will be doing after the 27-28 season concludes, where they don't have a roster as of now. And are you expecting them to extend any of those players that are 36, 37 years old to play for that season? The Los Angeles Clippers 2028 draft pick is going to be extremely valuable, which is why teams want it. It's not just why we want to keep it. It's why if you were in the market for Giannis Antetokounmpo, if the Sixers had legit interest for Giannis, that would be one of the prized possessions that Milwaukee would want to acquire. Just wanted to put that out there. All right, what do we got on the text line, Connor? Any of our topics today? 610-632-0975.
Yeah, so we have a lot of people checking in on that Sixers conversation now and checking out the Paul George suspension news. Trevor from Percy has an interesting question. Whose situation upsets you more, Jose Alvarado's or Paul George's?
Jose Alvarado, because he was ineligible for the playoff.
Jose Alvarado.
Also, they were the much more viable championship contending team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Look, here's the thing.
But like very similar to the Paul George situation, Jose Alvarado snuck out of the building the night he was
right.
Without saying goodbye, without telling his teammates, without addressing it, without doing anything.
Alvarado was ineligible for the playoffs the second he was suspended, and he was a vital part to that playoff team. And it's why I still don't believe Matt Strahm pitches in that situation where Teoscar Hernandez hits a home run.
No, you're right.
And so that's why the Alvarado one is worse, even though I understand Paul George considered more of an impact player for the Sixers because Alvarado pitches to one inning. May face one batter, depending on the situation. So I get why it's a question that's going to be asked. I also have no attachment to Paul George. Like I have no.
Because he has no attachment to us.
Yeah, like I have. Like I love
and this
Jose
behavior
Alvarado.
This behavior shows more.
Right.
That he has no attachment to us.
Like Paul George is when it comes to my lifetime of fandom, is a nothing, is a nobody. I'm serious.
Yeah.
Is there a Paul George jersey? Have you seen somebody wear a Paul George Sixers jersey?
I don't think I have.
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Alvarado, people love Alvarado.
Oh, no, they love.
So it hurt from an emotional standpoint and from a team standpoint. Paul George means like nothing to my life. Other than the last 10 games where the Sixers looked good. And I was excited for 5 minutes. All right, coming up next. Speaking of the Phillies, glad that you brought up that text. For those of you who were dreaming the Phillies signed a player, even though there wasn't really anywhere for him to play unless you made some other moves, your dream's dead. For a year, John. Kincade Salciunas, 97.5, The Fanatic.
Now on 97.5 The Fanatic Sports Update.
Paul George suspended. I'm Connor Thomas, and the NBA announced on Saturday the Sixers' Paul George would be suspended 25 games for violating the league's anti-drug policy. Head coach Nick Nurse was able to react to the news over the weekend. Here was what he had to say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, disappointed for sure. But those guys that have been playing, we got to figure out who's going to replace some of the things he does and the positionally and defensively and shots and all that kind of stuff.
For a team that was just starting to build momentum again, it's a tough pill to swallow. But despite the news, the Sixers were able to find a win over the Pelicans on Saturday. They're back on the floor tonight in L.A. against the Clippers. 10 p.m. tip-off. You can hear that game live here on 97.5 The Fanatic. Flyers fell to the Kings in overtime on Saturday. They have 2 more games before they hit the Olympic break. Next up, a home matchup with the Capitals tomorrow night. As for the Eagles, we'll still learn more about the 2 new offensive coaches in the coming days. Offensive coordinator Sean Mannion and pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard. We'll keep you updated on that as the offseason continues. And also the Vic Fangio story that was developing over the weekend. Apparently considering retirement multiple times. Expected back, but no guarantee of that. So we'll keep an eye on Vic's situation too. This update is brought to you by Staples. Staples has hot deals and low prices on everything for your business, like up to $125 off your print order. Ends April 18th. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details. I'm Connor Thomas for the home of the Sixers, Flyers, and the best birds coverage. 97.5 The Fanatic and 97.5thefanatic.com.
97.5 The Fanatic.
The final hour of Kincade Salciunas is presented to you by The Bagster. It's a dumpster in a bag. You can get yours today at Home Depot and Lowe's. You need details? Go to Bagster.com.
It is 9:30 on this Monday morning. I just saw Matt Gelb does a tremendous job covering the Phillies for The Athletic, which we're going to talk Phillies this segment, but this was not the plan. It's just like it popped up.
Okay.
Justin Crawford has been spending his offseason trying to work on his craft in center field. Because remember, at one point, it was talk that he was projected to be a left fielder. So, to his credit, he spent a lot of time this offseason working with Eric Davis, who was a tremendous outfielder in Major League Baseball. So, a good guy to work with. But I saw the tweet from Matt Gelb for his article. On opening day, Justin Crawford could be the Phillies' youngest outfielder in 46 years.
That doesn't even seem believable.
It doesn't. But I'm trying to figure out, because I haven't had time to look at the article yet. Is it starting outfielder or is it on the roster? Because I went back to the 1980 Phillies, which would be 46 years. And Greg Lazinski was the youngest outfielder of the team starting on opening day at 29 years old. There's no way the Phillies have not had, in the last 46 years, a guy under the age of 29 starting an outfield.
I mean, there is.
No, Tom Brown.
Yeah. Well, opening day. Was Don Brown starting on opening day?
Didn't he start on opening day, Tom Brown?
I don't believe
No?
so.
Did he come up, or did he? I thought he had started on opening day. I might be incorrect.
But, like, Odubel, he was a starter.
Odubel Herrera wasn't. Was he in his? He was in his 20s.
So he's 23, his first year in Major League Baseball. So I would imagine maybe his 2016
He absolutely had to be
24 years old.
Wait a minute. That can't be right.
Maybe he meant overall outfielder on the roster.
I mean, Crawford's 22.
Odubel Herrera was a 24-year-old starting center fielder.
Yeah, but maybe he means on the roster. And so the Phillies
What do you mean?
Phillies don't typically have young guys on their roster. Like, was there I don't know. You knew the 1980 team more than I was.
The 1980 team, I mean.
Was there a really young player on the 1980 Phillies?
Well, there was Bake McBride. There was, I don't think of it. Gary Maddox and them, not really young. But I don't think Gary Maddox was Gary Maddox was probably close to 30.
There you go. Orlando Salas played 3 games for the Phillies that year.
I don't even know that name.
At the age of 20. Bob Denier. He was 23 years old.
Number 24, if I'm not mistaken.
He wore multiple jersey numbers.
But I thought he was
24.
24.
24 was one of them. He also wore 30, 22, and 29.
I don't know why I remember stupid stuff like that.
He was on the Phillies at the age of 23, but he only played 10 games. So I don't know if he was on the opening day roster or not.
Yeah,
Anyways,
he might not have been.
Bottom line is the Phillies aren't normally a young team. And outfield is not normally a position that they are very good at developing.
Odubel was on the opening day roster for a ton of time.
Right, so,
For years.
Bottom line is hopefully they have someone in Crawford. That would be
That'd be
nice.
great.
What they don't have is Eugenio Suarez.
No, they don't.
And there were a lot of fans just, 2 weeks ago we talked about this, still wondering, hey, can they get Eugenio Suarez? And my first response is, well, where is he going to play, right? Because he's not going to be DH. You have Kyle Schwarber. He's not going to play first base. You have Bryce Harper, who won't go to the outfield, even though he says he will.
Oh, he says he will.
And then there's third base, where you have Alec Boehm. Now, Alec Boehm, they tried to trade away if they were to acquire Bo Bichette, because Bo Bichette would have signed a 7-year contract. We know the history. He goes to the New York Mets, so now they have to play some game with Alec Boehm. We were never going to trade you. We love you for the second straight year. And he's got a great attitude going into camp. Can't wait to hear Rob Thompson talk about that.
Oh, yeah. And we always wanted him. We always wanted him to be here. So.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're going to say that, too.
You're right. They are going to say that.
We always wanted him to be here.
So if Suarez were to signed, he would have played third base. Now, he is an abysmal fielding third baseman, but we know the bat.
Correct.
And it's a 1-year deal.
Would he be, and I asked you earlier, for this Phillies team this year, if I took Kyle Schwarber out of it, would he be the second most productive bat in this lineup?
If you're looking power numbers?
Home runs.
I'm asking you home runs, RBI. I believe he would.
Yeah, probably. I still think Harper has a bounce-back year in him, so I don't know where that comes in at this point in his
but he
career.
could drive him in because he'd be batting behind Harper.
He'd be batting behind Harper.
Kyle
So I think
Schwarber.
he'd benefit. I think he would benefit. And by the way, I think Harper would also benefit from having him behind him. $15 million 1 year. By the way, too, Suarez was finding that at his age, going from MLB Network's reports, that he was getting 1-year offers or 1-year offers with options to vest for a second year. Probably the same stuff that JT Realmuto was getting from, but the Phillies said, no. We're going to give you 3. We're going to lock you down. And $15 million? Sure. Here, the money's open. By the way, if anybody spins to you that the Phillies don't have money and they were willing to spend $200 million.
Yeah, they have it.
They have the money. Again, it's do they want to spend it? They had the money. They were willing to spend it. They spent $45. They threw that at JT's door. Well, that means they got another $155 that they were willing to spend. It's there. So don't hear anybody tell you, oh, they don't have the money. Yeah, they have the money.
Here's the thing. So I imagine there are going to be people that are going to say, well, Alec Boehm's younger and all this kind of stuff. Bottom line is if you sign Suarez to a 1-year deal, it's either you have Suarez for 1 year or Boehm for 1 year. Because Boehm is entering a free agent, a contract
$10 million this year.
And he could sign elsewhere, right? Like, do you think would you be surprised if Alec Boehm signed somewhere else next year?
I'd be surprised if he's back.
Yeah, I know. I'd be more surprised if Alec
$10 million
Boehm. Yeah,
he's making this year.
Now, Boehm better fielding third baseman and more consistent on base guy, but Suarez provides the pop that you've been missing. And oh, by the way, part of the reason why you're missing pop from the right side is because Alec Boehm doesn't provide it.
Who's better protection?
Suarez protects Harper and Schwarber better than Alec Boehm protects Harper.
And that, to me, is you're looking at the investment in what are you doing for the other big bats in your lineup.
Yeah, look, if Boehm still had 3 years left on his deal,
it's different.
It's different, but because he's going into his contract year,
and you were supposedly willing to spend another $145 million that you were willing to spend,
and oh, by the way, you were going to move on from him because you would have traded for a player or signed for a player that would have taken his spot. I understand, but
I can't get over
they've been trying to move on from Boehm for 2 years. Mr. Locked On, what do you think?
Yeah, the Bichette situation can't really be compared to the Suarez situation because Bichette, you offered a 7-year, $200 million deal.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying this is the second straight year they would have moved on from Alec Boehm.
I'm getting to that, right? But the point is, like, if you sign Bichette, you got your middle infield locked down forever. You sign Suarez, it's a 1-year deal, but bringing in a guy on a 1-year deal, $15 million contract, leads to you having to move off another player while you still have to move Nick Castellanos or release him. We are just about a week over pitchers and catchers reporting to Clearwater. It was too late in the season to put yourself into a position to move another starter when you already got to move a guy off right field who you're not going to play. They're not going to drop a nuclear bomb on, hey, we've got to trade more guys.
Is Alec Boehm a nuke?
I don't think that
dude hasn't hit a nuke.
And honestly, I'm going to tell you, Connor, I don't believe it would be a nuclear bomb in that clubhouse.
No,
this is a clubhouse that pretty much said bench him during the playoffs. I think the clubhouse might get a breath of fresh air if he was gone.
I'm not saying nuke for who the player is. I'm saying nuke for what the front office would have to accomplish with spring training starting.
Well, you bring in Suarez, you move him.
Right, but moving Boehm is difficult and possibly impossible. And then you've got, 2 guys that were starters last year that you're going to have to straight up cut? Like, it would be a headache for the front office at this point in the offseason.
We had $145 million that you were willing to spend that you didn't spend. You got 2 players, $20 million and $10 million committed to. I guarantee you if you were willing to say, hey, on Alec Boehm, hey, we got $5 million. You want him for 5? You don't like him at 10. We'll pay 5.
Yeah.
You got a double-A prospect for us or something? We'll take him.
Wanting to give that money to Bo Bichette versus paying money for a player not to play for you are 2 totally different things.
Well, you're talking about seizing a window of opportunity, and 2026 is a window of opportunity that is closing quickly. And by the way, this team still needs pitching. I'm going to keep continuing to bang this drum, much like the Kevin Patullo thing. Phillies Red Blinders fans are not talking about this rotation. This rotation is paper thin. Paper thin.
They're thin, but that paper, that's some damn quality paper.
They need somebody. You don't know how quick Wheeler's coming back. You do have no idea. And how you're replacing Suarez.
Yeah, they don't have a safety net, but if you don't fall, you don't need the safety net.
We have no idea who you're replacing Suarez with because you can't say Painter.
You could just hit a lot of home runs.
You could just hit a lot of home runs.
And unfortunately, without Suarez, you don't do that.
And how many innings are you going to get out of Painter?
We'll see, man.
We'll see.
Is there going to be an inning count?
You'll get more than 100 out of him.
Didn't somebody say to us last week they're not expecting that?
That they're not expecting that?
Yeah, because he pitched a decent amount last year.
Okay.
We'll see, man. We'll see.
The way they are
is,
with guardrails with kids?
Well, you got Justin Crawford and Andrew Painter. The youth is coming for
And
Philadelphia.
maybe Aiden Miller in the middle of the season. We'll see how that plays out.
We'll see. By the way, you missed a story in headlines. Man.
Well, you took one of my opportunities.
You took one?
Yeah, but I told you it was baseball related. Did you see the boxer from over the weekend, Jarrell Miller?
No, I don't know what this is.
You missed this? Oh, dude, it was all over social media.
I was a little sick.
I'm so offline, and I even saw it.
What?
They had a boxing match Saturday.
Okay.
And he was facing Kingsley Ibe. And Kingsley was, bang, bang, pop, pop. Knocked his hairpiece off.
Oh, I did see this. Yeah, I forgot about
So
that.
Jarrell Miller had a hairpiece on, and when he took an uppercut, kind of grazed his nose, but then got the front of the hairpiece, and
it took it off?
It flew off.
See, Johnny Marks could have gotten him set up with the hair restoration. He wouldn't have had to wear, a dead animal on his head.
That's a very...
He could have just had his own hair restored. Listen to Johnny Marks. He gets great advice on this stuff.
Now, good thing is Miller laughed it off. He won the fight, too, so that kind of helps him. But he laughed it off afterward. But
and he said people actually believed it was his hair?
Yeah.
Oh, man, this looks so natural. It's like nobody can tell.
Yeah, listen, if I'm a boxer and someone wants to say something, okay. You just saw me use these hands.
Why would a boxer not just shave your head?
He wants
By the way,
you're not fooling anybody.
It didn't come all the way off. It's still stuck on the back.
Oh, no.
Wait,
it's doing the flap?
When the round ended, he pulled it off and threw it into the crowd.
Well,
That'd be a sick souvenir.
Oh, that's awful. That's filthy.
too bad.
I don't want your game-worn sneakers. I don't want your hairpiece.
I don't want you throwing roadkill on me. By the way, nobody was fooled.
All right, coming up next. Can you celebrate it or not? Johnny and Connor will be the judge. It's Kincade Salciunas 97.5, The Fanatic. All right, speaking of celebrating, there are two fan bases celebrating this weekend because their teams are in the Super Bowl. Ours, unfortunately, are not. Last call for football. FanDuel, in partnership with Valley Forge, is giving you a daily profit boost every single day leading up to the big game. It's really cool. They're doing something every single day. So today's profit boost, 30% profit boost, is on passing yards, the over-under for both quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Drake May. You want to bet the under, you get a profit boost on it. You want to bet the over, you get a profit boost on it. You don't like the number itself, Drake May 225.5, Sam Darnold 227.5, and you just want to go with the 200 plus, the alternate route, you can do that as well. Normally the payout's not as good, but you're getting the 30% profit boost. All you have to do is opt in each day, place an eligible bet, and you'll use that day's profit boost. So whether you're locking in early lines, riding your favorite props, or taking one last swing before the final whistle, FanDuel is giving everyone something extra to cheer for during football's final week. Just play your game with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of Super Bowl 60. You got to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania, opt-in required. Bonus issued as knowledgeable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
guess what? I wouldn't want me to play quarterback for my football team either.
But you know what he's doing is, if anyone could have used last week and this week, Super Bowl Media Day, as a Spike the Football moment, it's Sam Darnold.
Yeah, well, he's getting carried, so that makes it tough for him.
Yeah, really. Sam Darnold has taken every opportunity to say, I thank all the coaches that have dealt me along the way. I learned something along the way. I've gotten better along the way. Sam Darnold has not used one opportunity. He has not taken the cheese to spike the football, and I admire the hell out of it.
So just so you guys know, I looked up this guy's draft history. It wasn't just Sam Darnold. Like, he drafted years before that.
He got some good players for them. No, he had a few of the good players, didn't he? No?
His 2015 draft, Leonard Williams was actually playing for the Seahawks.
Okay, right.
But then everybody else.
Okay, go on.
Nobody's. 2016, their quarterback before Sam Darnold. How about Christian Sackenberg?
Oh, my gosh.
Ooh.
What did we get, 10 on him?
Whatever happened to that guy?
We got 10 on him at Temple.
Second round pick. They all sucked. Every player from the 2016 draft class. 2017, Jamal Adams.
That's a nice player.
Yeah,
I mean, it's hard to miss.
Hard to miss. Sixth overall pick for a safety.
Whoa. There are top 10 picks that miss all the time.
By the way,
all the time.
That was drafted Mahomes. Mahomes went after Jamal Adams.
Nobody would have ever drafted.
Well, they had Christian Hackenberg, bro.
Nobody would have drafted Mahomes ahead of Jamal Adams.
And then other than Sam Darnold, nobody in 2018, other than Eagles practice squad legend Parry Nickerson.
Oh, wow.
Was one of his draft picks. And then 2019 finally had a hit on Quinnen Williams. But that's it. My man had some bad drafts.
There were some bad picks, yeah.
Lot of bad.
But take the credit for Sam. He's quarterbacking in the Super Bowl. You found him.
Yeah, 5 teams later.
Oh, my gosh.
What do we got on the text line before we hand things over? We got Middays with Marks coming your way next.
All right, so we have a check-in here on our Eagles conversation that we were having about why they can't figure it out. And this texter checks in and says, Hurts is bouncing back this year. Struggled after the previous Super Bowl they lost. Along with the new staff, I think he's coming back strong.
I hope so.
Yeah, we hope so. Jinx.
He wasn't good this year.
No, but
like a lot of people don't want to admit it. They just want to point to Patullo, and by the way, I point to Patullo before anybody else. All right, you've heard me. But Hurts wasn't.
He had
act like Hurts was that great.
He had 6 interceptions, 4 in one game.
Yeah, because they were afraid to throw the ball.
Yeah, it's. I think it's a bit overblown.
That's more. No, look, that's more of an offense. I hated the offense.
The offense.
I hated it all season.
The offense was high school, and guys have, and it wasn't because of Jalen demanded it be that way. That's a bunch of crap, and you're going to find that out with the new staff.
Damn right we will. All right, everybody have a great rest of your day. We have Middays with Marks coming our way next. Sean Brace in the house today, typically on a Monday, my guess. So Johnny Marks, hopefully Sean Brace as well. And then, of course, the great Ray Dunn. Everybody have a great rest of your day. We will talk to you tomorrow on a Tuesday with Amy here on 97.5 The Fanatic.